A strange voice, neither male nor female, echoes in my mind welcoming me to the all-people-sea survival game. It tells me I will spend the rest of my life at sea from this point on, that I should not worry about any illnesses or disabilities I might have because the system will cure them all, to give me a relatively fair starting point, that I can sail freely and do whatever I want, that whether I become an unknown nobody or famous throughout the world is up to me. The voice says the sea offers infinite possibilities and that there is only one thing I must pay attention to. Keep moving forward and don't let the black mist behind me catch up. The black mist's current speed is 10 knots. I wake up on an old bed, try to get up and choke on the dust I've stirred. The cabin around me is narrow, dimly lit, and dilapidated. On a table not far away lies a dried-up skeleton, its left hand still clutching a rusted flintlock pistol, most of its skull missing, suggesting suicide. I do not show fear. I look at my own thin hands instead and realize I am actually standing, which is a miracle. Minutes ago, I was Yang Oi, a bedridden patient. At 12, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. By 20, I was completely paralyzed. And for 5 years afterward, I had supported myself with my mouth, playing horror games and streaming until the age of 25. So a motionless skeletal corpse does not move me much. The voice was real. I look out the window at the boundless sea, waves rising and falling. The voice continues, telling everyone we are now at sea, more than 500 nautical miles apart, so we will not meet for a while. Near each of us is a small booklet called the Sailing Log, which has many useful functions and will allow communication without barriers. Other content will be announced later. I find the booklet on the bed, the word Sailing Log on its black cover, no bigger than my palm, glowing faintly. The first page contains the rules. Without permission, others cannot board my ship. Items on my ship cannot be stolen by other players unless I am dead. Every ship has a grappling hook of infinite durability, and I should boldly grab any floating items. I need to upgrade and reinforce the ship to keep it safe. I must beware of fog at night, because being caught in the black mist behind me means death. The manual is soul-bound and viewable in my mind, and at sea I will never feel lonely. The booklet feels like skin. The second page shows the day's weather, which I skip. The third page shows my status. I am Yang Ewe, status healthy, with a stick figure all green. The system tells me the average adult attribute is 5, and can be trained up to 10, the mortal limit. My strength reads 3 with 0 out of 50 experience, spirit 7 plus 1 with 0 out of 8,000, the system noting that higher spirit increases sanity resistance and speed sanity recovery. Agility 4 out of 100, constitution 3 out of 50, perception 5 out of 200. Sanity sits at 100 out of 100, below 50 leads to madness, below 30 triggers suicidal thoughts. Below 10 something worse. Stamina 100 out of 100, with drowsiness below 50 and possible fainting below 30. Blood and chi 100 out of 100. My talent is Iron Will, which says I never give up. Spirit upper limit plus 1. Sanity always remains at least 1 point. I will not commit suicide, and a significant sanity drop to 50 or below will instead trigger a frenzy state. The low attributes need very little experience, so catching up will not be too hard. I flip to the chat channel, divided into world, regional, and private. The world channel is the liveliest, with people speaking one after another. The chatter is exactly what you would expect when 10 billion humans wake up on ships at sea. Confused voices asking if anyone is there, demanding to know what's going on, complaining about being yanked off the toilet, asking if anyone has been kidnapped, marveling that broken arms have miraculously healed, confirming the pain is real and this is not a dream. Each person can only send 10 world messages per day. More requires payment in seashell coins. 100 coins per message. I do not know what seashell coins are, and I have none. After 10 or so minutes, the chaotic chatter quiets and the conversations become more substantial. Players ask whether everyone has 7 rules in their manual, plead for groups, point out that the distance is too vast and there are no coordinates, so grouping right now is impossible, urge information sharing, and start posting their findings. One player has discovered a piece of equipment on his ship, a blood-stained harpoon, type relic, quality good, very sharp, capable of causing minor damage to aberrations and then enraging them, with a note that using relics carries a risk of reducing sanity. The world channel explodes. People ask what aberrations are and whether there are monsters. Others complain they have nothing but freshwater bread and vegetables. Others marvel that vegetables exist at sea while they only got sausage. People ask about ship sizes. One ship is over 100 meters and feels too big, another only 10. And the small one's owner pastes the ship info. Iron Heart, level 1, durability 5,000 to 5,000, capacity 8,000 units, speed 5 knots, hull skills full firepower, cannon firing rate increased to 200% for 15 minutes, and triple shot whale harpoon, can penetrate and hook an object, with a description warning that its speed may not be fast but yours had better be. Players curse that the game is unfair because his ship has cannons at level 1, complain that special ships have skills while ordinary ones are blank, demand to re-roll. Someone points out his speed is only 5 knots, slower than the Black Mist, and crows that he is doomed. An announcement pops up declaring that all our starting conditions are different. Ships, onboard items, personal talents, and starting locations are set according to our personalities and experiences. Objections refused. The chat sneers that no one believes that there must be shady dealings, since some people start with weapons, and others only with food. Others quote the saying that while the neighbor hoards grain, the smart family hoards guns, and wonder whether people with cannons will get monsters spawning nearby while others will not. I close the log and search the cabin. The flintlock pistol in the skeleton's hand is a piece of equipment. Waterlogged and rusted flintlock pistol, type relic, quality exquisite, once a masterpiece but waterlogged and severely rusted, only a 50% chance of firing, capable of moderate damage to aberrations. The gun does not require bullets. The automatic reload time is 1 minute, magazine capacity 1. An exquisite grade weapon. My expression goes serious. As the announcement said, all starting conditions are fair, and the gun says I have a hellish start. I push the skeleton off the table and find a rotted paper underneath. Only a few characters legible. A previous captain wrote that there were no supplies on the ship, and he could only try fishing. That one day he caught a tiger grouper enough to last 2 days, and that he eventually caught a strange antique pistol with a strange firing sound, but apparently worth a lot of money. The page ends in a large bloodstain, only the last line visible. A question wondering how there could be such things in the sea. I frown, get up, and walk out of the captain's quarters. The ship's panel reads Nightmare, Level 1, Durability 300 of 300, Capacity 400 units, Speed 40 knots. Hull skills are Nightmare, sleeping on the ship causes nightmares, stamina recovery efficiency minus 75%, and Fisherman's Curse, this ship is cursed. Normal fish cannot be caught. The description says the ship has drifted at sea for hundreds of years, finally welcoming its new owner. My expression turns grim. This is a ghost ship. The hull is covered in barnacles and seaweed, the deck damp and creaking underfoot. I have played many horror games, and in scenes like this, monsters lurk. Fortunately, I search everywhere and find no other moving objects, and I let out a long sigh of relief. I do not want to start the game with an intense battle against some inexplicable creature. The ship is about 12 meters long, composed of helm, captain's quarters, deck, and cabin. The helm sits on a raised platform at the bow with good visibility. Behind it is the captain's quarters with bed and simple furniture. The midsection holds a tall mast. The stern houses the cabin. The cabin is empty, not even a bug, only damp, musty air. My starting supplies are 0. A ghost ship that has drifted for centuries would be strange to contain food. I open the log and check the world channel. Most people are showing off their ships. The majority are ordinary ships, but a few special ones stand out. The Gale reads Level 1, Durability 800 of 800, Capacity 500 units, Speed 70 knots, Hull skill riding the wind and breaking the waves. Ship speed increases by 100% for 5 minutes. Description joking that you can't even smell its exhaust. That should be the fastest ship currently. Other basic ships range from 30 to 40 knots, with larger ships having higher durability but slower speeds. My Nightmare's speed is above average. The Sakura reads Level 1, Durability 1000 of 1000, Capacity 1000 units, Speed 35 knots, with Aura of Fortune that makes the Sakura tree on the ship emit an evolving Aura of Fortune that occasionally changes crew attributes and may trigger evolution. The description hopes the crew can remain human. The channel goes uncharacteristically quiet for a few seconds. The Sakura captain laughs that her ship is awesome, and that she feels like she is evolving. Someone replies that it is mutation. Ironheart, the slow battleship captain, threatens to shove a cannon barrel into her if his 5-knot vessel ever runs into hers. He attaches a screenshot from the log's capture function. A steel warship armed to the teeth, 20 cannon barrels on each side, full of firepower. But everyone bursts into laughter again at his 5-knot speed. The Sakura captain mocks back that he can talk if he survives tomorrow. He fires a string of insults, many words censored. I notice that different languages are all translated into one's native language by the system. Type a single line into the chat saying I want in, and scroll further until I find interesting fishing posts. Players have tried fishing. One teases everyone to be quiet because he's fishing. Another says he found out he can fish and suddenly does not want to go back. Another claims he fishes once a week for a week at a time. One announces he just finished setting up his bait spot. Someone mocks that his ship is moving, so what kind of bait spot is he setting up, asking if he is stupid. The other complains he is used to it and laments his black bread. Another asks the room to guess what he caught. A bottle of Farmer's 3 Punches. My eyes light up. If freshwater can be caught, things will be easier. My ship has a fishing rod on the deck, the moldy fishing rod with barnacles, type tool/relic, quality good, with a description that says it reduces the probability of catching normal fish, slightly increases the probability of catching unidentified objects, and warns the user not to like what it catches. I judge that unidentified objects must include freshwater. Before fishing, I need to set the ship's heading. With no specific destination, I plan to sail straight ahead at full speed in the default direction. At the end of my vision behind me is a black smudge that must be the boundary of the black mist, so forward is right. Controlling the ship is simple. Hold the helm and the magic does the rest. including speed and grappling hook use. The experience is similar to the sailing games I have played, simpler than driving a car, with the helm at the bow so I can monitor the sea ahead. I look up at the mast where only a few tattered rags hang symbolically, decide not to ponder how power works, and focus on grabbing floating objects. Each grab logs a notification in the activity feed. Rotten wood +1, rotten wood +1, tattered cloth +1. The gameplay is similar to Gold Miner, except the targets are dynamic, and once an item is grabbed it converts into resources stored in the cabin, viewable in the log. Each rotten wood has roughly a less than 10% chance of converting into 1 unit of lumber. Tattered cloth into fabric. Grabbing about 100 floating objects yields 5 units of wood and 3 units of fabric in 3 hours. Not very efficient, but skill-based, so proficiency improves it. Lumber and fabric upgrade the hull. To upgrade my nightmare to level 2 requires lumber times 200, fabric times 100, and a captain's relic, meaning the skeleton in the captain's quarters cannot be discarded. Conservatively, this is over a week's collecting, and that is just level 1. I open the chat to confirm and find that basic ships have lighter requirements. Lumber times 100, fabric times 50, no captain's relic. The Iron Heart's upgrade requires steel. Its captain curses that iron sinks to the bottom of the sea, so he is finished. A fisherman boasts he just caught a unit of steel. Another announces he is buying steel at a high price and will take whoever sells him some as a subordinate. The Sakura captain mocks that the Iron Heart can talk if he survives tomorrow, with the black mist catching up. Iron Heart curses back, telling her to come find him without staying anonymous. I close the log. Special ships have downsides too. Harder to upgrade, easier to fall behind in level. I pick up the rod, ready to fish. The day's weather report reads clear skies with not a cloud in sight. Suitable for fishing, location origin sea, daylight hours 5 remaining, temperature 12 to 20 Celsius. Wind force level 1. I take a deep breath, check status, sanity 100 of 100, and use the log's simple crafting function to make a crude wooden spear from 5 wood, with the flintlock tucked behind my waist. The log tells me bait is not required for fishing here, which must be the system's power, though using bait improves efficiency. Preparations complete. I cast. The hook arcs into the sea and 15 minutes pass with no movement. To kill time, I open the world channel to see what others have caught. One boasts about 100-centimeter sea bass, and the channel curses him for asking. Another claims a huge one but couldn't pull it up. Scrolling further, someone warns to be careful when fishing. If you find something weird, cut the line immediately, since there is no penalty as long as the rod survives, and the line regenerates infinitely. Another reports cutting a humanoid figure on his line. People speculate it was a mermaid. He says if anyone wants confirmation, they should look at his rod. Carbon fiber exquisite fishing rod. Type tool. Grade exquisite. An excellent fishing rod that can be passed down to your grandchildren. Increases fishing success rate, reduces stamina consumption, and slightly increases the probability of catching unidentified objects. Players envy that grade. A veteran fisherman points out he has no rod at all and is making do with a grappling hook, that a simple rod requires 10 wood. Another tells the envious to be patient and posts his own boat. Fisherman, level 1, durability 345 of 400, capacity 500 units, speed 25 knots, hull skill none. Description that it is not sturdy and has no skill that makes you feel more like a fisherman. The envious goes silent at 25 knots. Someone asks why his durability dropped. He answers he just reeled in a 3-meter great white shark that nearly swallowed him, so now he cuts the line for anything big. Otherwise, who knows who eats whom. Players also share that fishing yields treasure chests in freshwater, that one caught a chest with a secret inside, that another has caught only socks, farmers 3 punches and balloons, with someone questioning whether the balloons are legitimate. Fishing here can yield incredible things, including monsters, so I am mentally prepared to cut the line if needed. A few minutes later the float twitches and I hold my breath, concentrating. With a spear and a pistol, as long as it is a fish, I should be fine. The float sinks, I pull, and there is no resistance at all. What I reel in is a small fish about the thickness of a thumb, around 3 centimeters long, streamlined like a sardine, except that it has 4 5-centimeter long legs on its sides and stands on all 4s on the deck. I stare at the fish and the system tells me I have discovered a strange fish, with sanity decreased by 2 points. The next second the fish skillfully uses its long legs to escape toward the sea, but I smack it dead with a spear. Long-legged sardine, tight food, an abyssal fish species that the description says will give you long legs if you eat it often. Edible, non-toxic, delicious, but eating it requires courage, and may decrease sanity. I pick it up. Under 100 grams. 4 pale long legs already broken, structured exactly like human legs, springy to the touch. I ask myself if this is really edible. Remember the fisherman's curse. Take a photo with the log, and share it on the world channel asking if anyone has caught a fish like this. A single stone stirs 1,000 ripples. People exclaim mental contamination -8. Ask me what I think a fish is. Scream at me for hurting their eyes for 10 sanity. Mass block me. Swear they will never see this again in this life. Billions block me at once, all suffering some degree of sanity drop. Then one player private messages me asking if the seawater in my area is black, warning me to leave quickly or I might be attacked by unidentified monsters. I glance at the vast blue sea beneath my ship and reply flatly that no, my ship is just a ghost ship. He tells me I am good and adds me, CO Day of the Gale submits a friend request. I accept. Adding a friend is no loss. He tells me not to send photos like that again because his sanity is only 54 and will drop further. I agree, but for food and freshwater I have to keep fishing. The next hits log long-legged sardine, long-legged sardine, long-legged sardine, with one leg missing, and I curse under my breath as my sanity drops by 1. The system seems to be doing it on purpose by giving me an abnormal ship. Anyone normal would go crazy in less than a day. After 3 hours, I have 8 long-legged sardines, some missing a leg, and not a drop of fresh water. Without food, a person can live over a week, but without water, they die in 3 to 5 days unless they drink their own urine. Unless absolutely necessary, I do not want to reach that point. I steel myself, grab a long-legged sardine as bait, and resume. I fish another hour. The sky darkens, the first night approaching. I am ravenously hungry. The long-legged sardines scattered nearby look appetizing despite the sanity cost, and there is no stove on the ship, so I would have to eat them raw. The float bobs and I perk up, pulling hard. A black fish reels in, no long legs, covered in sharp spines, body slimy like swollen mucous membranes. As soon as it lands, the membranes burst, oozing black foul-smelling pus, and the fish takes its last breath. The system tells me the fish is disgusting and my sanity drops by 2. Puffer fish with tumors, type food, and abyssal fish whose bodily fluids contain potent venom that a normal person would not eat unless they no longer wish to live. Poisonous. I do not touch it. I pierce it with my spear and toss it into the cabin, then deliberately stab it several more times until the spear tip is stained black, turning it into a poisonous wooden spear. The system has emphasized that night will be dangerous, so I have no intention of fishing at night. Just as I put the rod away, a peculiar object drifts across the sea. A box, more precisely a treasure chest the size of a briefcase, drifting past the nightmare. I cannot miss this. I rush to the helm, turn the ship, and chase. I manipulate the claw hook for the chest, but the chest dodges like a living creature, slipping aside. After much effort, I finally grab it and rush into the cabin to examine it. Waterlogged rotten wooden treasure chest. Type treasure chest. Description warning that this might not be the kind of chest I was hoping for. I keep the flintlock aimed at it with one hand and pry it open with the spear. Inside is a dead human head, hairless grayish-white skin, seemingly covered in mucus. The moment it is opened, the head reacts, opening its cloudy eyes and asking if it can trouble me for a few minutes to introduce me to the omniscient and omnipotent Lord. The system tells me I cannot understand its words and my sanity drops by 5. My scalp tingles, the head leaps out, and only then do I see its true form. An octopus whose head has been replaced with a human head, a mass of twisting tentacles below, bird-beak teeth at the bottom, leaping at me trying to bite. I fire. The muzzle sparks and it does not misfire. The muffled gunshot rings out like a monster's low growl, and the octopus explodes into shredded flesh. The strange gunshot drops my sanity by 3. I feel a surge of suppressed anger, a slight urge to vomit, and immediately check status. Sanity 88, stamina 62, blood 100. A drop in sanity can interfere with the mind. Fortunately, my mental attribute is high and my will tough, so I quickly regain composure and examine the corpse. Human head octopus, type food/material, an abyssal fish whose words should not be understood since they are merely ambush bait, and if I can understand them, the description merely wishes me good luck. Edible can be used as material, slightly toxic. Consumption gives strength temporarily +1, constitution +1, spirit -1, sanity -20, with a hint that this cannot break the mortal limit of 10. The thing has value. I gather the shredded flesh, then check the chest's contents. Rusted coins, conch pattern on one side, and a cartoon octopus head on the other. The system grants me 100 seashell coins. Aside from these, the chest is empty. No fresh water. The seashell coins are useless right now. Darkness has fallen. I toss the captain's skeleton into the cabin and return to the captain's quarters. I do not plan to fish at night because the system warned of danger, and I do not want to take risks at the start. Fresh water can wait until tomorrow. As for food, I can always eat long-legged sardine. I never give up easily. I lie on the old bed, tossing. The bed is damp and reeks of mold, but I have no choice. Outside is full dark, only faint moonlight, only the sound of waves and wind. I open the world channel. I send a tip that the claw hook can grab treasure chests, which has little value since anyone who sees a chest will try to grab it, but it might earn goodwill and information back. Sure enough, someone replies that he caught a wooden resource chest and got 1 steel, 20 wood, 20 cloth. Another envies him, saying he can upgrade quickly. Another claims he caught a bronze equipment chest and got a treasure. Bloodstained pearl necklace. Type relic, quality good. Once a bride's dowry whose owner is still searching for it. Agility +1, spirit -1, sanity limit -5 when worn. Players dismiss it as not really treasure. The owner accuses them of jealousy. The chat continues. Players complain it is so dark and their ships have no lights, that they have no blankets and are freezing, that they cannot sleep, that the waves are getting bigger. A fisherman cheers that bigger waves mean more expensive fish, and urges everyone to fish. Many say +1, +2, +10,086. Then someone asks if anyone else hears a siren song. Quite nice. Another panics that he hears nothing, and asks where on the open sea a siren song would come from. The first player says she is waving at him, beautiful and sexy, swimming toward him. Another shouts that he should watch his sanity, that it is a siren. Holy crap. Someone urges him to hide in the captain's quarters. Lock the door. Then his messages stop. Other players ask if he is still there. Hello, hello. But no reply comes. I frown. The system's warning is not groundless. I listen carefully, hear no siren song. Get up, push open the door, and observe the moonlight outside for a few minutes. Nothing moves. I rush to the bow, control the helm, reduce the speed to 10 knots. Slower means fewer monsters, but staying put is no good either, and 10 knots maintains a buffer against the black fog. I return, place the flintlock on the bedside table, lean the spear against the wall, watch the chat a while longer, and slowly fall asleep with faint whispers echoing in my ears. Frowning deeply, sweat beating on my forehead, seemingly having a nightmare. The first night at sea is destined to be sleepless. I do not know how long I toss before falling asleep. I am having a nightmare. At the same time, in the cabin of the nightmare, the captain's skeleton stirs, its bones tremble, and a soul fire lights up within its damaged skull. Bones clatter as it stands, walks out of the cabin and slowly makes its way to the captain's quarters at the bow. Inside, I am still asleep, occasionally turning. The skeleton looks at me for a long time, then its gaze is drawn to the moldy fishing rod nearby. He picks it up and walks out to the relatively spacious midship area and begins to fish. 10 odd minutes later, something bites. A pale, swollen hand reaches up from the sea and grabs the line. Meanwhile, in the dream, a bloated, drowned corpse silently pushes open my door and walks in. The sound like a wet mop slapping the ground. Squish, squish. By the time I wake, the drowned is right in front of me. Without a word, I grab the flintlock from the bedside and fire. The gun misfires. The next moment, I am pressed onto the bed, disemboweled, hot red organs spilling all over the floor. The system tells me I experienced death, was tortured and devoured. Sanity decreased by 15. Just a dream. I let out a sigh. But I notice the door to the captain's quarters is open, and immediately grip the flintlock, telling myself it cannot be the wind because there is no wind at sea today. Familiar squish-squish footsteps approach. A bloated drowned appears at the doorway, soaked too long in the sea, swollen and putrid, still wearing a tattered sailor's uniform, covered in seaweed, looking at me with pale eyes. The system warns that seeing an unknown creature drops my sanity by 5. I curse and immediately fire. The gun jams. The drowned, retaining some consciousness, sees the misfire and bares its wide mouth in a laugh, with a crab crawling out of its toothless mouth. The scene matches the nightmare exactly, so I am already prepared. The instant the gun does not fire, I throw the flintlock like a stone at the drowned's head. While it is stunned, I grab the spear and charge, thrusting into the rotting neck and crashing my body forward. Not to damage, but to escape the narrow captain's quarters and reach the deck where I can maneuver. The force of the sprint and my weight squeeze me past it. The foul stench almost makes me vomit. Sanity drops another 5. I am not strong enough to overpower it, so I run non-stop to the bow deck where I can use the raised platform with the rudder for cover, circling like the ancients to shake the pursuit. I count down, 48, 47, the wooden spear still piercing its neck while it pursues as if nothing is wrong. At 3, 2, I stop circling, shake it off, run back to the captain's quarters, snatch the flintlock from the doorway, aim at the drowned, hold my breath. A few meters, large target, no reason to miss as long as it does not misfire. I fire. The gunshot is deafening and piercing. Sanity -2 for the strange noise. A bit off, but it hits. More than half the drowned's head shatters. Black pus splatters. It loses balance and falls heavily forward. I tell myself I have won, my tense nerves loosening slightly. I walk over to retrieve the spear. Then the corpse moves again. More than half its head is shattered, yet it can still move. A pale hand clutches my ankle with immense force, claws digging into my flesh. I curse that it is not dead, eyes flashing, and pick up the spear, thrusting it into the broken skull cavity. The grip weakens, but at its dying moment, the drowned turns its head to look at me, eyes filled with malice, and its abdomen swells rapidly. Self-destruct. I react instantly, falling backward. With a muffled bang, putrid flesh and bone fragments splatter like a rain of blood. The drowned was lying face down, belly toward the ground, so most of the force is directed at the deck. I avoid the worst of the bone shrapnel, but my foot is unfortunately injured. Left foot throbbing with 2 teeth pierced through the sole, right arm scratched by an unidentified bone fragment, but the wound shallow. The blood and flesh raining on me now have no lethal power, just drench me. Sanity drops 2 for disgusting corpse fragments. I struggle up, pry the severed hand off my ankle, check my condition. Status injured, sanity 55, stamina 40, health 91. I take off the left shoe, endure the pain, pull the teeth from my sole, The force was less than a bullet, so the puncture is shallow, but otherwise it would have been life-threatening. Looking at the drowned, I gasp. Only a partial skeleton remains on the deck. The entire spine is gone, presumably flown into the sea, while the ribs are embedded like arrows in the wood. If I had been impaled, the consequences would have been unimaginable. The log produces information on the drowned type, undead, an unfortunate soul who drowned at sea, rising again with resentment toward the living, can be used in the monster gacha machine. I ask aloud what a monster gacha machine is, and feel completely bewildered. After calming down, I notice a blind spot. The drowned walked to the captain's quarters and I just happened to discover it, but what opened the door before the drowned arrived? My hair stands on end. I hear footsteps behind me, and my left shoulder throbs. Something has stabbed me. I react too late. A fishing rod stabs out, piercing my left shoulder deep into the flesh. I run forward, turning my head, my right hand covering the wound. Behind me stands a skeleton, half its skull missing, ghastly green soul fire burning within. The captain's skeleton is alive, holding the fishing rod whose tip is stained red with my blood, his jaw constantly opening and closing as if mocking me. I curse at the old bastard. The system tells me I have been attacked by the drowned and my sanity drops by 10. Sanity below 50 puts me into frenzy state, immune to most mental negative statuses. Strength +2, agility +1, constitution +1, spirit -2, ignoring pain, tireless fearless, until sanity recovers. Mental negatives include charm, mind control, fear, despair. When stamina hits 0, blood will be consumed instead. The frenzy maximum cannot break the mortal limit of 10. I raise the gun and fire. Misfire. The skeleton, holding the rod like a spear, charges. Although I feel no pain, my foot wound affects movement, and circling with a 2-meter rod is risky. I change tactics, advancing instead of retreating, and throw the spear into its bones, briefly stunning it. I close in and raise the flintlock by the barrel as a short hammer, smashing toward the skull's broken opening to hit the soul fire. The skeleton blocks with both hands, abandoning the fishing rod, terrified of the gun. We wrestle for the gun. The skeleton's strength is slightly lower than my frenzy strength, around 4, but the entanglement makes effective attacks difficult. If the gun goes off and hits me, I am finished. I think quickly, even in frenzy. If it wants the gun, I will give it the gun. I time it, struggle a moment longer, aim, pull the trigger, misfire. I decisively abandon the gun. The skeleton's attention locks on the flintlock and I break free, running for the cabin. By the time the skeleton arrives, it sees only a dim silhouette inside. Me, frantically gnawing on an unknown mass of flesh, dark sticky fluid on my mouth, eyes bloodshot. The system pings. I have swallowed the human head octopus. Strength +1, constitution +1, spirit -1, sanity -20. Last 1 minute. My strength jumps from 3 to 6, a full double counting the frenzy +2. And I realize strength is exponential rather than linear. 2 points higher means easy crushing victory. I press forward. The skeleton has not yet reacted, still wondering why the gun will not fire. I tackle it, tear off both arm bones, fling them aside, thrust my right hand through the skull's broken opening, and grasp the soul fire. Not hot, just warm. The skeleton trembles violently and scatters into ordinary bones, its soul fire extinguished. But is it truly dead? Not necessarily. Burned by the drowned's ambush, I am 100 times more cautious. I grab the skull, pick up the flintlock, place the skull on the rail. I view its information. Captain's remains, once a captain who loved fishing until he caught something, can be put into the monster gacha machine. 2 minutes later, the green light relights inside the skull. Without a word, I fire. The gunshot is sharp, the skull blasted into fragments, sanity -1 for the noise. I conclude that subduing or killing monsters yields information about them. But what is the monster gacha machine? I have not seen one. To be safe, I keep the corpses, throw them into the cabin, take the skeleton's arm bones and thigh bones. Headless skeleton soldiers might exist. I have seen them in games before. I treat my wound with cloth and return to the captain's quarters. Status: injured, sanity 24, stamina 21, blood 82. Stamina so low that no wonder I am dead tired. I open the world chat and type a casual line warning others to lock their doors at night. Someone responds asking what I encountered. A siren? Another asks if I killed it, whether it drops equipment. I reply irritably that it was no siren, just pure torture, then close the channel. I lie on the bed with the skeleton's thigh bone under the mattress as a pillow, the gun close at hand, planning to set up sound traps tomorrow as an early warning. I cannot sleep until dawn. Seeing dawn arrive, I get up and toss the bones beneath the bed. After all this time, the captain's skeleton should be thoroughly dead. After a night, I look like a changed man. Face pale, deep dark circles, eyes bloodshot. As I walk out of the captain's quarters, I notice a statue has appeared on the bow deck. A cartoon octopus monster with wings, squatting on a rock. A log announcement pops up. Last night, a total of 13,000 people successfully killed otherworldly demons, one even completing an astonishing double kill, the system granting a special talent based on achievement. The monster gacha machine is now open. I can put monster corpses in to receive gacha rewards. The corpse is forcibly recycled, but I should not throw in trash or living creatures lest the machine get angry. The world channel explodes. Players ask whether monsters exist, whether anyone has seen one, demand to be put back so they can give anything. One regrets that a skeleton monster knocked on his door and he didn't open, missing out on talent rewards. Another points out that opening would have meant dying. Players ask if anyone has found the gacha machine yet. One found it on the bow deck, a big-faced cat. Cute. Another's is in the cabin, a cartoon robot. A third's is a clown placed in the captain's quarters. They all differ. I look at my own, a cartoon octopus monster with mouth wide open, eager to be fed, mouth full of tentacles. The system tells me a reward has been distributed, granting me the talent ? With an unlock condition that is also ? Attempts 0 of 3. The unlock requirement needs to be unlocked itself. I open the chat. Other people are asking the same. Conditions vary. One player has to walk 100,000 steps to unlock his, another to breathe 3 million times, another sees only 0 of 100 with no goal. Mine at 0 of 3 is exceptionally low. I shake my head and leave it to fate. I walk into the cabin and exchange the drowned severed hand at the octopus man machine. The captain's skeleton can't be used since there is only one. The machine's eyes light up red, tentacles changing color like ribbons. I turn the dial and gacha balls clatter inside. Twisted sense of humor, I mutter. A light orb rolls out, becomes a bottle of dark blue potion. Undead's Grudge, consumable, quality good. After consumption sanity -20, for 1 minute regarded as a drowned, not actively attacked by low-level otherworldly demons. A solid life-saving tool. The world channel goes lively. Players show off prizes. One drew a bone token, relic, EXQUISITE. Summons a skeleton to fight for 15 minutes after which it loses control and attacks the summoner. Corpse vanishes after death. 24-hour cooldown, only use if you can defeat the skeleton. Offers of 100 million flood in, but the holder shrugs that money is useless here. Only seashell coins and meet in-person trades. Another offers a serrated dagger, treasure, exquisite, sharp, and comfortable to hold. Capable of minor damage, only flaw being short. Players mock that we know he is short. Most show ordinary drops. Only those two are exquisite. Relics are stronger than treasures in effect, but carry sanity drop risks and side effects. My rusted flintlock at moderate damage is significantly more powerful than typical exquisite weapons that only cause minor damage, but it has serious limits. 1 shot a minute, misfires, drains sanity. A form of balance. I look away and swallow half a long-legged sardine raw. I am too hungry. After last night's battle, my worries have lessened. To survive, these are not problems. The system tells me eating a long-legged sardine raw drops sanity by 2. The fish tastes off but is not rotten, and provides energy in a small amount of water. I eat all the sardines and feel slight fullness, then check status. Injured, sanity 74, stamina 52, blood 83. Last night's nightmare and insomnia made energy recovery poor, and the wound has not healed properly. I do not know if it will get infected. I head into the cabin. Today's top priority is sound traps. The otherworldly demons are not very intelligent, so the traps need not be concealed. Using simple synthesis, I make long ropes, punch holes in thin wooden pieces, string them together. Each unit of wood is roughly a cubic decimeter and can be transformed into any cubic shape. I tie knots between pieces and hang them in the corridor in front of the captain's quarters and on the door. Testing, the difference between wind and a body bumping into them is significant. By morning's end, the wood and fabric I had collected are used up. I am not in a hurry to grab more. The priority is fresh water, so I must keep fishing and watch for drifting supplies and treasure chests. Just as I think this, I notice my body is wrong. I feel hot, face very flushed, stomach hurting slightly. I check status. Injured/corpse poison infection, minor/food poisoning, minor diarrhea. Body yellowed wounds darker. The thing I least wanted has happened. The drowned carried corpse poison and I am infected. Out at sea, no medicine. Today's weather reports: clear skies suitable for fishing, location origin sea, daylight 8 hours remaining, temperature 15 to 25 Celsius, wind force level 1. I am desperately fishing, needing fresh water and medical supplies, both possible through fishing. I check the chat and someone has fished out ordinary medical bandages with the effect of accelerating healing and reducing inflammation. Not enough for my injuries, but other medical supplies must exist. The catches roll in: rotten wood, long-legged sardine, rotten cloth. I curse, pick up a long-legged sardine, bite off its head, swallow the rest whole, including organs and long legs. A survival expert once said that if you remove the head, you can eat anything. I am very hungry, so I eat each one I catch. Eating raw sardines drops sanity, but I am about to starve to death and starving people eat anything. After eating a lot, I noticed that the sanity drop attenuates with repeated occurrences. Eating long-legged sardine now drops sanity only by 1, occasionally 2. Get used to it and there may be no effect. Mental experience grows rapidly, probably linked to sanity stimulation. After 2 more hours, my body is worse. The wound itches unbearably, but I refuse to scratch to avoid worsening the infection. Diarrhea is draining water and salt. Fever blurs vision and lightens my head. Status reads injured/corpse poison infection, moderate fever/food poisoning, mild diarrhea. I tell myself just a little longer and I will catch life-saving medicine. I force myself alert and continue, finally catching something I have not seen before. Eyeball fruit. It is an eyeball, blinks, fist-sized. The description says bizarre, but it is a fruit from the abyss. Slightly sweet, can supplement vitamins, salt, water. I bite into it, black pulp splatters, the fruit trembling slightly in my hand. Sanity drops too, but it tastes much better than sardines. The pulp grainy and slightly sweet, and I eat it all. I feel much better. Diarrhea basically stops, but the corpse poison remains. Fishing yields no medicine for it. By evening, I have not caught medical supplies, but did get a bottle of fresh water. Total harvest, eyeball fruit times 2, long-legged sardine times 8, wood times 10, cloth times 9, pufferfish with tumors times 1, fresh water 1 liter. The other things I have eaten. The water is 1 unit storable in the cabin, and I have already drunk 1/3 of the 1.5 liter bottle of Farmer's 3 Punches. I must drink sparingly since the drop rate is low. By evening, I dare not linger on deck, stop fishing, return to the captain's quarters, place the flintlock beside me, and lie down. Fever and infection torment me relentlessly, destined to be sleepless, plus the nightmare curse. I open the chat. It is still lively. A careful person would notice the channel no longer shows the online count. The dead make no sound, disappearing silently. Someone says he made 2 spears and dares the skeletons to come tonight so he can drop gold coins. Another scoffs that skeletons have no flesh and come with piercing resistance. That spears are less effective than fists. Another is reserving steel, needs 982 units, asks for private messages. The Sakura captain mocks Iron Heart for surviving. He retorts that even if all the rest die, Grandpa here will not. A player asks how he outran the black fog at 5 knots. He tells them to give him steel, and he will tell them. They tell him to keep his secret. Behind all the ships, a steel battleship races for its life. The black fog 10 knots behind it. Fish on the seabed fleeing too. A portly middle-aged man stands on the bridge, beard scruffy, cigarette in his mouth, hand on the helm. His arrogant chat is camouflage. He is scared to death, the slightest lapse fatal. Chatting is one of his few stress releases. His ship has ample supplies, infinite ammunition, astonishing durability. Only too slow, soon caught. His starting position is very close to the black fog. Fortunately, his ship has a giant harpoon gun, whose harpoon, once embedded in a giant marine creature, is hard to pull out. He looks for the next target to drag him faster. He grumbles that the stupid fish does not last long, retracts, aims at a new fast-swimming large target. He has slept 3 hours so far. The rest of the time is target hunting, since the giants also bleed, tire, die. As for fish foolish enough to attack him, he teaches them what firepower suppression and civilized cannons mean. The next day, I wake with difficulty, head throbbing. I do not know when I fell asleep, only that I dreamed of unsettling things and feel nauseous. The ship is worse than I thought. Without other means of energy restoration, my game efficiency drops significantly. After a whole night's rest, stamina has only recovered by 30. The corpse poison has worsened. Wound no longer itches. Only stinging pain, not a good sign. And a disgusting fishy smell rises from it, identical to the drowned. Human immunity is no match for corpse poison. Strength, agility, constitution, all drop too. Weakened state. I do not despair. I have endured worse. 5 years paralyzed in bed. I walk to the cabin, eat 2 eyeball fruits and a few sardines, and continue fishing. Lucky start. I catch an eyeball fruit immediately. Then a long-legged sardine, a piece of rotten wood. Then my vision goes black and I collapse on a deck of the passageway, falling into a coma. A system announcement echoes in my mind. Congratulations to all players for successfully surviving the 5th day. The trading system is officially open. Please check the log for details. I slowly wake. 5th day. I passed out for over 2 days. My limbs feel filled with lead, my body cold, lips chapped. Throat burning. Status, severely injured/corpse poison infection. Severe, entire body red. Sanity 100, stamina 23, health 14 out of 100. Below 30 is severely injured, below 10 dying. An attack in dying state may instant kill, not far from death. I struggle up, parched, intending to eat something to replenish fluids and check the trading channel for life-saving medicine. Just as I get up, I notice another ship docked next to mine. A pirate ship flying a skull flag, over 20 meters long. 2 grappling hooks attached to the Nightmare. A wooden plank between the ships forming a narrow bridge. Not good. Too late. An arrow flies and strikes my left arm, piercing through, dropping my health to 9, dying. I fall and hide below the rail. Movement on the plank. Someone is crossing to confirm whether I am dead. The arrow was not fatal, it didn't hit a vital, but I fell so quickly the opponent might not have seen and needs to come closer. By the rules, he cannot directly board the nightmare, so he had been following, waiting for me to appear, planned to kill me, and then board. I understand the whole story instantly, and a fierce light shoots from my eyes. If he wants to kill me, he will have no complaints when killed. My left arm is injured but does not hurt. The right is fine and can aim and pull the trigger. I grip the flintlock and secretly lift the boarding restriction. He has no powerful firearm or he would have bombarded me already. When he boards, the first thing he sees is me lying on the deck. Face pale, eyes bloodshot, like a zombie, body stinking of decay from the corpse poison. And even more frightening, this zombie holds a large caliber flintlock with a dark muzzle pointed at him. I tell him not to move. If he draws or attacks, I will shoot his head off. I sit up slowly. He dares not move with the gun on him. In reality, I dare not fire easily either. The gun is most threatening when not firing. Once I fire, two possibilities arise. Misfire and I am dead, or fire and he is blown apart. I tell him to throw down his weapon and not make any unnecessary movements. My voice is deep and hoarse, full of imposing presence. He hesitates, frozen. I stand up, the strong fishy stench of decay wafting off me, and pull out a huge eyeball from inside my clothes with my left hand and bite into it without blinking. The eyeball fruit trembles and seems to beg for mercy. Too thirsty to resist, I swallow it in 3 bites, dark viscous juice staining my mouth corners. He is scared senseless. The system tells him he is stimulated. Sanity drops 10. He looks down and sees several rotten long-legged sardines, a stinky pufferfish with tumors, a pile of bitten-off sardine heads on the deck. The system tells him he sees unknown creatures with signs of gnawing. Sanity drops 7. Sanity below 30. The activity log keeps pinging, but he does not notice. Strong fear surges from the bottom of his heart, interfering with cognition, making him paranoid, suspicious, and fight or flee in the face of danger. He lets out a ghostly scream that startles me into almost firing, then throws his weapon and turns to flee in panic. Puzzled, not understanding what drove him mad, I do not miss the chance. I aim, wait until he has run a certain distance, pull the trigger, misfire, sound not loud, he unaware. I pick up the bow and arrow. Pirate longbow, type treasure, grade good, slightly increases archery accuracy, reduces draw strength, a pirate's good companion. Without hesitation, I prick the pufferfish with tumors with an arrow. Draw, aim. Weak from illness, I cannot fully draw and my aim is poor, but the distance is only 3 or 4 meters, so I still hit. Striking his thigh wounds shallow. I was aiming for his chest, but a hit is enough. He immediately pulls the arrow out, does not stop, runs straight for the bow as if to escape. I do not chase, instead lying back down. My condition is so bad that a counterattack would be hard to handle. Fortunately, he is scared out of his wits and flees by ship. Only when the sounds die down do I get up. I look like a zombie, and in reality I do risk becoming one. I feel no pain, the wound does not bleed. I am dizzy and slightly sluggish. I head to the cabin, replenish water, eat all the eyeball fruit, recover a bit and watch the sea. He has gone far. The ship has become a black silhouette. I control the nightmare and follow far behind, waiting for the poison to take effect. Pufferfish with tumors implies high toxicity, likely an abyssal contaminated pufferfish, and pufferfish toxin is famously potent. After about a quarter of an hour, I catch up. I repeat the process. Grappling hook the ship, build a plank bridge. My condition so bad I rest 3 or 4 times to move the plank. Boarding flintlock in hand, I maintain vigilance and slowly approach the bow deck. He appears dead, lying immovable, but it could be an act to make me lower my guard. He might have an antidote. Cautious, from a 4 or 5 meter distance, I fire at his head. Misfire. Frustrating. But I am patient. A minute later, the gun fires. His entire head explodes into pulp. Only then do I relax and approach. Once bitten by a snake, one fears a rope for 10 years. After the drowned ambush, I am 100 times more cautious. Searching the corpse, I find a light orb dropped. 400 seashell coins, the money on him. His pirate outfit. Blood-stained ornate pirate outfit. Type relic. Quality good. Belongs to a conceited fool. Agility +1. Wearing it continuously decreases sanity. Spirit 8 or above immune. He was wearing it, so his sanity was likely not high and he might have already gone mad. I take the outfit, prepare to loot. Then I notice the unlock counter on my mystery talent has changed from 0 of 3 to 1 of 3. Could the unlock condition be killing people? I cannot be sure since I do not know exactly when it incremented. I feel no psychological burden after my first kill. High spirit and high tolerance probably explain it. I change into the pirate outfit. The system warns the clothing feels chilly, sanity -5, but my high spirit ignores it, and walk to the pirate ship's cabin. The ship is special. Pirate ship level 1. Durability 1000 of 1000, capacity 800 units, speed 45 knots. Hull skills are extra grappling hooks. 2 grappling hooks on each side can grab objects or other ships. And pirate assault, speed plus 25% for 15 minutes. The description encourages becoming the pirate king. I try to switch ships, but after long log searching I find no such function. I do not plan to switch anyway, though decent. With 4 extra grappling hooks for resource efficiency, the nightmare's premonition effect is far rarer. I search all the rooms and unexpectedly discover a female corpse, naked, having suffered considerable abuse before death. 1 plump thigh missing, clear ligature marks on her neck. The bloodstains are fresh, time of death recent. I am the second victim. The first is already dead. The system warns me I am thinking about the whereabouts of that thigh. Sanity -2. I frown. The owner's sanity might have been even lower than I expected. Mental state worrying. I examine the supplies. 2 hard black bread for 2 days of calories. 5 liters of fresh water. 125 units of wood. 98 units of cloth. The system pings. I have successfully occupied an ownerless pirate ship and may dismantle it. Basic materials transferred to my cabin. Before dismantling, ensure capacity is sufficient or excess will damage the hull. This dismantling yields 100 wood, 50 cloth, and 1 pirate blueprint. Only by dismantling special ships do I get the corresponding blueprint. Each ship can only be modified once with a blueprint, so choose carefully. The prompt only appears the first time. No wonder this ship had so much wood. The previous owner must have dismantled an ordinary ship. The Nightmare's capacity is 25 of 400, holding 14 wood, 10 cloth, 1 liter water. Only resources occupy capacity. Equipment and weapons are placed freely, even left on deck. Whether the ship overloads with too many items I will test later. Quick math. After dismantling, the Nightmare will have just enough space, and the materials will upgrade me to level 2. A great bargain. After confirming no other valuable items, I return to the Nightmare carrying a dozen simple arrows. I confirm the dismantle on the log, and the pirate ship breaks into scattered fragments, pouring into the Nightmare's cabin. I have enough resources to upgrade, but before that, the urgent matter is medical supplies through the trading system. If upgrading uses my resources, I will be finished. My health has only dropped 1 and the rate is slow, the wound not bleeding because of the corpse poison. Instead, sanity is dropping continuously, already below 80. Not the pirate outfit, but the corpse poison eroding sanity. I open the chat to browse and search. Players sell emergency bandages. Type consumable, quality common, clean bandages that effectively stop bleeding and prevent wound infection. At 10 seashell coins each, 5 left. Another sells rum for disinfection. 30 seashell coins a bottle, only 1 left. Another sells balloons for those who know. The market just opened. Everyone's coins are limited. No price standard, so quotes are based on feelings. Many barter, some refuse coins. Few sell resources. Wood and cloth are hard currency. Someone sells salt, holy salt. Consumable quality fine removes minor curses. Can be scattered to ward off evil, also edible. 100 coins a pack, useless to me. I keep scrolling and finally find my target at exquisite quality. Long-term limited sale of holy water. Private message for details. Holy water, consumable, quality exquisite. Blessed water, internal or external use. Also a thrown item. Can never have enough when facing demons. Cures various poisons and curses. Accelerates wound healing. Slightly restores stamina. This is it. I check my bargaining chips. Undead's Grudge. Pirate longbow. Rusted flintlock pistol. Bloodstained pirate outfit. Barnacle-covered fishing rod. Pirate blueprint. Plus various resources and 500 seashell coins. I want to keep the weapons, outfit, fishing rod, and enough resources for the level 2 upgrade. The pirate blueprint can be traded but is very valuable and not for sale now. After brief thought, I send a private message asking the price. Before friending, everyone is anonymous. Players can choose to display real name or ship name. Several minutes later he replies, seemingly busy with many people. He needs lots of cloth, plus life-saving items, equipment, fresh water, food, all acceptable. I frown. Bidding first puts me passive. Too low and I'm seen as troublemaking. Too high and I take a great loss. But my life hangs by a thread and I am in no mood to haggle. I offer my acceptable max, Undead's Grudge with attributes attached, plus 400 seashell coins, 30 wood, 58 cloth, 1 black bread, 4 liters fresh water, and continue browsing without waiting for a reply. He replies within 10 seconds that my offer is much more sincere than others. A friend request comes through. Captain Jude of the Radiant Goddess. I accept, and several messages follow, that compared to me others are simply causing trouble. She has 4 bottles of holy water, but my injury is probably very serious, and 1 bottle might not be enough, so this time she will give 2 as a welcome gift. Her name is Jude, and her ship can produce holy water and we can cooperate long term. May the Goddess of Radiance bless me. I am incredulous until the trade request arrives. Too smooth. She also greatly needs Undead's Grudge, and from this trade is genuinely kind. The Radiant Goddess is a pure white 3-masted sailing ship, forged from sturdy white oak, looking incredibly sacred. Captain Jude has golden hair and blue eyes, tall and voluptuous, yet has the delicate features of an Asian person, likely of mixed heritage. She is in a special building called the Prayer Room containing a Radiant Goddess statue. The ship is currently level 1. The Prayer Room can produce holy water, but the output rate is very low. Worse, sea undead constantly visit the Radiant Goddess, especially at night, so every night she can only hide in the Prayer Room. A life-saving item like Undead's Grudge is exactly what she wants. a means of self-preservation that lets her hide in the prayer room with enough time. She thinks player ships connect to personality. The trade with Jude closes fast. I confirm the details in the log, lock the exchange, drop the agreed items into the octopus head gacha, and the system pulls the resources directly from the cabin without my having to handle them. The gacha is a guarantor as much as a vendor. Anything thrown in is teleported to the other party's ship, and the cartoon monstrosity with its writhing tentacles is enough of an outlier boss that no sane player tries to cheat it. A few seconds later, 2 glass reagent bottles roll out, colorless and odorless, and I uncap one and drink the holy water in a single pull. The burn ignites instantly, my skin smoking like cooked meat, the smell of singed flesh filling my nose, but my head clears in a way it hasn't since I woke on this ship. The infection downgrades from severe to moderate, my blood vitality begins ticking up on its own, and I drink the second bottle just to be sure. Then I spend 50 seashell coins on 5 emergency bandages. They look like ordinary cloth, but the recipe isn't mine yet, so coins are the shortcut. I yank the pirate's arrow out of my left forearm and the sharp pain almost drops me. But pain is the right kind of feedback now, the kind that tells me the corpse poison is losing its grip. I rinse the wound with a thimble of fresh water and wrap it tight. The status panel reads, injured with corpse poison infection at minor and improving sanity 93 of 100, stamina 35 of 100 and recovering. I exhale a long breath, a long survived breath. The remaining resources are enough to upgrade Nightmare, so I do it without hesitating. The hull glows sickly green, wisps of specters drifting around the ship like smoke, and the timbers groan as the hull stretches outward by a few meters. The system tells me the upgrade is complete. Nightmare is now level 2, and I should consult the ship interface for details. Then a voyage announcement scrolls across the world channel. The number of players with level 2 ships has crossed 10,000. The Origin Sea will reshape itself, and in 3 days an unprecedented storm will descend on this region. Every player should prepare. The world chat detonates the moment the message clears. Players scream they are short 8 wood, beg for sellers, complain that they are stuck in a game world that is somehow more competitive than reality. Wood and cloth prices skyrocket within minutes. Ironheart hawks fish for steel, and a heckler immediately replies that his fish stink of gunpowder. Gale advertises a buyback for low-grade wind essence at any price. Someone from a farmer-class ship hawks organic cucumbers and apples. Attaches his ship card showing level 1, 600 durability, 25 knots, with a whole skill called efficient planting that allows growing on deck. The chat is half disbelief and half envy. Every special ship has its own corner of the meta, and a ship that can farm is its own quiet jackpot. I look at the pirate blueprint I picked up earlier. Special quality transforms any ship into a pirate ship with faster speed, more grappling hooks, and eventually cannons. The blueprint doesn't consume materials, which means a high-level blank ship using it would skip an enormous amount of grinding. The higher the level, the more it saves. The price won't collapse later. My own panel reads Nightmare level 2. 600 of 600 durability, capacity, 1000 units, 50 knots. The hull skills are unchanged in effect. Nightmare's curse keeps stamina recovery at minus 75%, and the fisherman's curse still warps my catches. The flavor text grumbles that the ship is bigger now but no less dilapidated. The hull is 20 meters long, and at the bow there's now a skeleton chained in rusted iron. The last captain, apparently, displayed like a figurehead. The cabin opens an expansion choice with 3 options. I can build extra cargo holds for 100% capacity bump and 300 wood. I can build an ancient war room granting 2 waterlogged cannons for 200 wood, 10 steel and 10 sulfur. Or I can erect a great statue that panics passing ships, costing 300 wood, 300 cloth, and the corpse of an otherworldly demon. Cannons are what make me feel safest at sea, so the ancient war room is what I want. Steel and sulfur I haven't seen yet, so it stays as a goal. My current capacity reads 11 of 1000. Wood at 9, no cloth. Fresh water just under 2 liters. Level 3 upgrades stay locked until the expansion is done. With the announcement bell still ringing, I drop my line and start fishing again, because a storm in 3 days means food and water now. Behind Nightmare, dozens of nautical miles back, a ship I never see is watching me through a crystal ball. The Astrologer is a slender vessel with a 3-meter ball mounted on its deck. Level 1. 500 durability, 50 knots. Its hull skills include Astrologer, which projects a sea chart of the surrounding 100 nautical miles with ship names visible, and Peaking, which can pull a live image of any one ship per day. The captain is a woman with black hair, brown skin, and rare red eyes, SUNA. She first noticed Nightmare because 2 ships drifting abreast of one another in the Origin Sea is unusual, and her interest sharpened when the pirate ship icon nearby winked off the chart entirely. She used Peaking to look at me, watched a long-legged sardine vanish into my mouth before it even finished landing, watched an eyeball fruit follow it, and watched me pull a pufferfish with tumors from the line and toss it back without bothering to be impressed by the venom. She bites her pen, captivated, because a witch's blood talent rewards her for craving knowledge with red eyes that are both proof and curse, and her sanity holds steady where everyone else's would crater. In the morning, I practice my marksmanship. I hang a chunk of wood off the stern, stand at the bow, and put rounds into it at the 1-minute interval the flintlock allows, misfires included. Half the day passes before I land more than a dozen hits, which puts me a long way from being a sharpshooter. A fishing rod sits beside me, and I check it whenever something twitches at the line. I eat a long-legged sardine without losing sanity at all now. The legs are crunchy, the meat tastes like chicken, and the cursed fish has become routine. With the storm coming, I have hoarded 10 eyeball fruits, 1 black bread, 6 liters of fresh water, and a dozen long-legged sardines, plus a half-meter prize I pulled in earlier called the red-lipped eel, an abyssal species, fiery red lips on a fish's face, edible, non-toxic, with tender lips that the description teases me to kiss. Eating it raw means biting through those red lips first, and even I had to brace before the first chew. That night, a nightmare visits me. The red-eyed woman from the astrologer aims my own flintlock at my head, the muzzle she should not have somehow in her hand, and my sanity drops 8 points before I jerk awake. The corpse poison is cleared, and my wounds are mostly healed, vitality up to 76, but stamina recovery on this cursed ship is still a crawl. Only 30 stamina back from a full night's sleep, which strangles whatever I could do during the day. Holy water can refill stamina, but the cost is brutal. I'm thinking through that problem when an anonymous private message arrives, a single line telling me to look upper right. There's an island. I demand to know who is sending this, and the channel goes silent. To message a player privately, you need at least the ship's name. And for a non-special ship, you need a personal name too. I have given out neither. Either someone has a special skill that revealed me a distance, or this is a system mission. I circle Nightmare looking for a tail and see nothing. The island sits where the message said it would. A tropical disc maybe 3 kilometers across, ringed in golden sand. Crabs and scallops scuttle at the waterline. Protein, in a world that has been all cursed fish and hard bread. But what pulls me in is the cluster of coconut trees inland, the tallest carrying a bronze treasure chest in its crown. No player has touched this place. I drop anchor, wade ashore, and bag green crabs, clams, scallops along the way. The trees range from 7 to 10 meters tall, and climbing them at my level would mean snapping a leg I cannot heal. So climbing is out. Shooting a coconut down would draw whatever monsters live here, so shooting is out too. I gather 25 units of stone in 2 trips with the grappling hook, craft a crude stone axe out of 5 stone and 5 wood through the log's basic fabrication, and come back to the tallest coconut tree carrying it. The first tree drops 13 of my stamina before it falls, leaving me at 30. At full I could fell 5 or 6 in a session, and below 30 I'd risk fainting on my feet. The first coconut I touch glows in my hand. The system labels it Vitality Coconut, food, special and rare, juice that boosts stamina recovery. Exactly the bottleneck I needed broken. I split one and drink it on the spot, the buff settling over me like cool water. The bronze chest in the canopy yields 3 light orbs, a Vitality Coconut juice recipe, an edible sea salt of 500 grams, and a reagent rack tool of good quality that I'll need for any potion making. 1 chest with the recipe and the materials it requires. Overkill in the best way. I learn the recipe and brew a bottle on the spot. The product reads Vitality Coconut Juice. Consumable. Good. Recovers 10 stamina, increases stamina recovery by 50% for 8 hours, 24-hour cooldown. I keep cutting trees through the afternoon, resting on the sand whenever stamina dips. By evening, I have felled 4 trees, hauled back 38 Vitality Coconuts, and 43 units of wood. A larger trunk yields 10 or 15 wood, sometimes more. There's no fixed table. I plan to sleep on the ship and continue at dawn, and I am almost back when I see a glowing trail on the sand. A glistening, foul-smelling fluid winds inland from the waterline, faintly luminous in the dusk, the kind of slick a snake-shaped creature leaves dragging its body across stone. I crouch, span my palm over it. The trail is at least half a meter wide. Whatever made it is large enough that my flintlock would only get 1 shot before it killed me, and pulling that trigger would tell every other monster on the island where I am. I retreat to Nightmare, gripping the pistol, and only let my breath out once I'm aboard. I sit in the captain's quarters and weigh the risk. The Vitality Coconuts solve Nightmare's worst drawback. Other islands further on may not have them. The trade is worth 1 more day of pushing my luck. I sail 20 nautical miles out so the island falls under unseeing, far enough that no land creature would swim my way for a few pounds of meat. Drink half a coconut juice, cool, eat scallops and an eyeball fruit and half a red-lipped eel, and lie down with the flintlock dangling from my right hand under the bed, finger off the trigger. If anything appears in the doorway, I can sit up and shoot in 1 motion. I sleep and dream. A song reaches me through the planks of the ship, ethereal and sweet, the kind of voice no human throat produces. I sit up groggy and infatuated, my body moving without my consent, and in the doorway of the captain's quarters stands a half-human creature drenched as if she has just risen from the sea. 2 large seashells covering her chest, golden hair plastered to her shoulders, a fishtail beginning at her hips where the scales fold in. A siren. The trap of jingling tin at the doorway snaps and chimes, but the warning is meaningless because I am already walking. The system flickers its tally over my vision, enchanted by the siren song, lost control of my body, sanity -10, seen an unnaturally beautiful woman, captivated, sanity -7. I go to her clutching the flintlock and remembering nothing afterward. Far behind, on the astrologer, SUNA is writing in her notebook again. She has been keeping a journal titled with a placeholder name because she still does not know mine. And inside the pages are the hours I sleep, the things I catch, the strange foods I eat without flinching. She mutters that he can eat outright bizarre things expressionlessly and even kiss an eel without hesitation. No signs of madness. Incredible. She is, by any normal social standard, a stalker, the kind who would be pulled aside and re-educated. Then on the chart, Nightmare suddenly turns and runs at full speed for the island, which tells her something has gone wrong, because she has watched me long enough to know I do not move at night. She uses peeking, sees the siren, and her eyes go bright with surprise and a kind of fervor she does not bother to hide. The information about the island had been hers. The anonymous message I brushed off, planted to see what I would do. She had not expected this. I dream 3 women in a circle watching me without speaking. One of them lifts something to her mouth and chews slowly, blood dripping, and I realize after several seconds that it's my own right arm. The pain blasts the dream apart and I wake naked on a slimy stone floor, the cave around me lit only by the faint glow of mucus on every surface. I sniff and the slime is thick enough to clear a sinus. My right arm is intact, thank God, but a woman is sinking her teeth into my shoulder hard enough to draw deep marks. I curse her, ask if she is a dog. She lets go and grumbles that she thought I wasn't waking up. Her name is SUNA, she says. Her crimson eyes belong to my nightmare. She is bound at the wrists by some kind of seaweed cord, her body slim and a little malnourished, an Asian face with wheat-colored skin and the marks of effort behind her. She crawled across the cave to wake me. She tells me sirens captured me, and that 3 days have passed. I check the log and the activity feed is a column of charm alerts. Sanity sits at 51 of 100. She tells me the sirens have not eaten me yet. They fatten me up instead, which she calls a miracle. She tells me there are 3 of them, communal, song-charming males to use as both mates and meals. I look down, realize I am naked, and feel a chill no slime can account for. My pirate clothes are scattered nearby, and the rusted flintlock is on the floor. I dress in the blood-stained clothes and the system pings me with another -1 sanity. Exactly 50 now, the line where Berserk hits. SUNA tells me without prompting that the slime is a mucus secreted by the soft-bodied sirens for protection and lure, glowing in the dark like an anglerfish to draw prey, useful for displaying their figures during the hunt. She lectures with the focused enthusiasm of a researcher. I ask why she's here and her story comes out clean. She is a player, a witch. She was caught after her companion was eaten, and she's been working to free herself. She nods at a corner, and there is indeed a half-eaten male corpse there, organs missing, limbs broken, a graveyard of clean skeletons around it for emphasis. She is too composed for a captive. That's what trips me up. Her red eyes are exactly the eyes from my dream, the ones that pointed my own gun at my head. I check my panel. Strength 3 with most of a level pending. Spirit 7 +1 for talent. Agility 4 +1 for the pirate outfit. Constitution 4, Perception 5, Sanity 50, Stamina 92, HP 99. I have figured out the growth conditions. Exercise grows strength, constitution, and agility. Getting hurt and recovering grows constitution further. Sharp sanity swings grow spirit, and tasks like fishing and shooting grow perception. With SUNA's intelligence on sirens, base strength about 4. Never all 3 sirens acted together. If I can squeeze strength up to 4 before they return, the Berserk +2 pushes me to 6, and I can suppress them on land. I ask if she has rope. She says 15 units. I scan the cave for something to lift, and there is nothing. Empty stone, brittle skeletons. My eyes land on the male corpse. He won't resist, won't bite. His neck is intact for grip. The weight is right. I haul him up by the throat with both hands and start clean in jerks. SUNA stares at me as if a wild animal has entered the cave with her and asks how much sanity I have left. I tell her 50. Perfectly fine. Her eyes go wide, and I keep lifting. Her gaze sharpens into something fervent, the way an academic looks at a once-in-a-decade specimen, but I am too busy cycling reps to notice. Strength ticks over to 4 somewhere on the 8th rep, and the marlin in the corner of my eye becomes irrelevant. On the 9th rep, a wet slither sounds in the cave passage. 1 siren returning, by the rhythm. SUNA offers me 2 pieces of fish meat to plug my ears with. I shake my head and tell her I have my own way. The siren slides into the cave on a tail that drags behind her, sees both of us and freezes, especially at the sight of a man cradling a corpse like it owes him money. She recovers fast and starts singing. The system shaves 5 sanity off me with a charm note. I drop the corpse, my arms fall to my sides, and SUNA sees a dead man walking. She grips her witch dagger preparing to die. I walk to the siren in slow steps that I am not actually performing. Sanity below 50 has tripped my berserk. Strength +2, agility +1, constitution +1, spirit -2, immune to most mental abnormal status. The siren's beauty is a list of weapons stacked on a body. Fangs that punch through skull, claws long enough to open a belly, a tail that can break bone. And her gaze softens at me as if she cannot decide whether I am food or pet. She lets me come into her arms. I tell her quietly that we are not the same species, press the flintlock into her side, and aim up. The pistol fires on the first try this time, the gunshot deafening in stone, and the top of her head leaves her body. Half a sharp bone I had stuck in my belt for the gun's misfire is now redundant. Suna's red eyes are full of confusion, asking how I shrugged off the charm and what I was doing earlier. Walking willingly. I tell her the gun made a strange sound that scraped some sanity out of her too, and only a little, which means even SUNA, witch blood, is more abnormal than she pretends, because I lost 3 points the first time I heard the same shot, and I have spirit 8. I don't explain. The body slumps, twitching, and a paste of blood and brain spatters my chest. SUNA runs over in regret and asks me not to shoot the next one in the head. Please leave her a complete one to study. She is already pulling out a bottle to collect blood, brain tissue, mucus. I tell her flatly that I killed it, the loot is mine, and pocket a small piece of meat for the gacha. A tissue sample is enough since the body recycles after it's used once. She thinks for a moment, then offers me all the supplies on her ship and an extra month of sea chart guidance if I leave her the most complete corpse of the next 2. I agree. Without the song, the sirens are a drowned tier fight at best. Their loot likely worse than a chart. I ask her how often the next batch comes and she says 15-minute intervals. The larger one alone, the smaller 2 together. I tell her she needs a new data point. Under 2 minutes, and yank her toward me as 2 smaller sirens burst from the pool behind her. They land where she had been standing, find empty floor, and spin to face us. Their pale skin reddening, their mouths showing rows of teeth. They open into a duet, sharper than the first song, and even SUNA goes nauseous and dizzy, a thread of blood running from one ear. The system reads piercing yet enchanting, sanity -5. Charm doesn't take on me, but the sound damages my chest and ear directly, even chipping my HP. I tell SUNA we run. The cave's stone walls echo their song into a wall of pressure, and outside is better than inside. I drag her by the arm out the passage. Sirens are slow on land, dragging their tails like injured snakes, and we open distance fast. As we run, she asks if my pistol misfires often, blunt as ever, a question about something that gives her no benefit, only her curiosity. We hit the shoreline and stop, because there is no shore left. Most of the island is underwater. The sky is solid black overcast. Lightning cracks the entire visible horizon, thunder that rattles bone. The storm has come. SUNA mentions calmly that it has been raging for 2 days. All the players are racing to escape the sea area, and I bark at her for not telling me sooner. She replies that it would have changed nothing. The sirens still need killing. I check the cooldown, 15 seconds on the flintlock, and angle so the sirens reach my 5-meter sweet spot exactly when the gun is back. I fire. An arm comes off, the head intact. SUNA informs me my marksmanship is terrible. I tell her she should try it then, and assign her the wounded one, tie it down with the severed arm, while I deal with the other. I pick up a rock as I run, my strength upgrade kicking in mid-stride to base 4, 6 after the berserk bonus. The siren hisses, scales flaring, and clearly she has read the room. No song this time. Claws and teeth. I have less than no regard for fair fighting. I close the gap, smash the rock into her face, knock her sideways, mount her, and hammer a second cobblestone into her skull until something crunches beneath me and she stops moving. My back is striped with bruises from the tail and my arms torn by claws, but the upper body strength is what SUNA said it was, the equal of an average human. On land, humans are the overlords. In the water, it would have gone the other direction. I pocket a tissue piece and run to help. SUNA and the smaller siren are tangled in mud. One of the siren's arms broken, neither winning. I plant my foot on the siren and draw the flintlock. SUNA shouts not to shoot. She wants this one's head intact and asks me to choke her instead. SUNA has been watching the rise and fall of the siren's chest and is sure she breathes lungs. I clamp my hands on the throat and hold. After a few minutes, the body slackens and her eyes roll, but I keep choking through SUNA's count of 5 minutes to be sure of no resurrection. All 3 sirens dead. I joke that I had thought they had gills, and SUNA corrects me. Gills behind the ears, exact function pending dissection, and immediately starts feeling all over the corpse like a child with a new toy. The log species file confirms. Low-level siren, otherworldly demon, ethereal demon, captivates males with song and beauty. Group living, plays with prey before eating. This individual a low tier with limited intelligence. Advanced sirens exist. The next encounter could end before Berserk even triggers if the advanced version sings at me. I hope I'll be charm resistant by then. I open the weather forecast. Storm coming. Origin sea reclassified storm sea. Daylight unknown. 12 to 20 Celsius. Wind force level 8. The earlier announcement had warned the black fog will accelerate to 15 knots. Anyone too slow dies. 2 days lost. I have to leave now. I look out and find Nightmare still floating where I left her, anchor holding, sails too tattered for the wind to push her around. The ships are nearly a kilometer offshore now that the island is submerged. The original boundary is just tree canopies sticking up out of 10 meters of water. I'm not the swimmer who can do that distance. While I'm calculating, Suna stuffs a piece of siren torso into a black pouch on her belly. I look closer. It's a witch's personal 100 treasures pouch. Exquisite quality treasure. Attaches anywhere on the body. Immune to theft. Holds 1 cubic meter. No living things. I walk over to her with an idea. I ask Suna for her ropes. 15 units, she confirms and gives me all of them. I run back to the cave, strip the male corpse's clothes for cloth, dig through the bones for more, get 5 units of cloth and twist it into 5 units of rope. Total 20 units. I shoot down a few thin trees with the flintlock. The pistol is overkill on slim wood and barely registers cooldown between shots if I time it right. Refine the logs with the witch dagger and lash a meter-wide raft together. 13 rope and 8 logs. The leftover rope gets tied around our waists, so if either of us goes in, the other can pull. I tell her the raft is ready and she climbs on. Each of us has a paddle carved from a dagger blade. The water near the trees is calmer than the open sea, and we cover most of the distance smoothly until something massive slams the raft from below and nearly throws us in. A shadow slides past Suna's eyeline, a sea snake, big, in the same water as us. The raft lifts again, a rope snaps, the lashings loosen, and 3 more hits will mean we're swimming. We are still 200 meters from the ships. My head goes cold and clear in a way that isn't smart anymore, berserk doing its work, and I grin and lower the flintlock toward the surface to test fire. The shot punches through the water without trouble. Suna asks what I'm doing. Testing the gun. She frowns, suggests we throw siren meat as bait. I shake my head, tell her I can feel the snake has chosen me, it's inviting me down. She asks how much sanity I have left, and I jump off the raft mid-sentence, calling back that when there's a big commotion underwater, pull me up. Underwater, the math is what I rely on. 15 seconds to my next round. 3 or 4 shots possible before strangulation kills me. Snakes kill by squeezing. 1 well-placed shot ends the snake. The snake takes the bait on its own pride and coils me thigh-thick. Fast, far stronger in water than I am. I can barely free my right hand. The first trigger pull is a click. The second is a click. My ribs creak, and my air is gone. The snake bites my left shoulder. I bite into its body in return through the scales, and the third shot of my flintlock fires under the water like a thunderclap, taking off half the snake's head at point blank. It releases me, hisses out, and starts to die. I go limp as I drift down, body refusing my orders, and Suna sees the surface explode and spray in black blood. The rope at her waist comes up snapped. Somewhere in the thrashing it broke, and after a second's hesitation she dives in herself. I come back to consciousness, coughing seawater and a piece of snakeskin onto the raft. Vitality already crawling back, mind reassembling. Suna got me out and gave me CPR. I tell her honestly that I owe her my life. The unlock on my talent ? Just tick from 1 of 3 to 2 of 3. Which lines up. Being on the brink of death 3 times is the condition. She is looking at me again with that fervent observer stare and notes, not quite to me, that fighting to the death without hesitation goes against the instinct of every living thing, and she'll be writing it down later. She notices the bite on my shoulder, leans in, and starts sucking the venom out of the wound, spitting until the blood she spits comes out bright red, then stops. She knows it's risky. Most snake venom is protein and stomach acid handles it, but a damaged mucous membrane in the mouth means trouble, and she does it anyway. I'm touched, in a slow, muted way. We make it back to the ships. In her diary later, in a passage I'll never see, she writes that my berserk state is captivating, that I never retreat, that I plan in clear sentences while drowning, that I might not even know how badly I want to kill the thing in front of me. She wonders what I'll do if the thing in front of me is too strong. She closes with, needs further observation. Which Suna? Back on Nightmare, the food I left out has rotted in my absence. Only the pufferfish with tumors keeps. I keep 1 black bread, 3 eyeball fruits, 38 vitality coconuts, 1 liter of fresh water, and dump the rest. I eat the eyeball fruits, pick up a coconut, and start brewing a bottle of vitality juice to refill stamina. Suna pings the log requesting permission to board. I let her in. She watches me mix the juice and asks if I can make potions. I tell her I learned the recipe on the island and offer her a freshly mixed bottle of coconut juice cool because she did save my life. She takes it, examines it like a museum piece, and slips it into her 100 treasures pouch instead of drinking it. I tell her I'll take none of her ship's supplies and propose we cooperate on the storm. Astrologer's chart and Nightmare's slightly better speed make a sensible pair. She agrees, since that was already her plan. Outside, the world is dark cloud and howling wind. We can't leave yet. I'm still poisoned, the log is flagging it on my panel. I walk to the gacha and feed it the 2 siren tissue samples, and a piece of snakeskin. The large sea serpent enters the system as a cunning underwater giant snake, larger than a typical python, slightly venomous, gacha eligible. I turn back to ask Suna again whether she wants to gacha the second siren corpse in her pouch, and she shakes her head violently. To her, the corpse is research, and research is more valuable than items. I shrug and turn the dial. 3 balls roll out. She stands behind me writing in her notebook that Yang lives on a ghost ship. His mental state is concerning. The gacha is a terrifying octopus head, and Yang seems to like the octopus head, all of which I do not see. The first ball is a can stamped with a mermaid. Siren's voice. Consumable. Good. Open and inhale to emit a piercing shriek that paralyzes nearby creatures and shaves their sanity, costing 20 of mine. The description says I have gained the voice of a siren, though clearly I cannot sing. The second is a blue crystal pendant. Siren's tear. Relic. Good. When worn, spirit -2, immune to charm. If a song is heard, it transforms into a wail. Occasional auditory hallucinations of sirens whispering, bleeding sanity. Only I will sing for you, you belong to me. The third is a short sword. Sea serpent's fang. Treasure. Good. Slight paralyzing effect. Minor damage to aberrations. 2 equipment and a weapon out of 3 pulls. Lucky, especially the sword, which fills the gap my flintlock leaves during cooldown. I think for a few seconds. Berserk gives me natural charm immunity, so the siren's tear is redundant. Charm itself adapts fast. First time -10 sanity, second time -5, soon 0. The siren's voice is genuinely good, but I need healing more. I message Jode of the Radiant Goddess. I need 2 bottles of holy water in stock. Her reply takes a few minutes. She's busy sailing, has limited stock. The implication is the price will be steep. I offer 1 bottle of Vitality coconut juice, the siren's tear, and the siren's voice for 2 bottles. She comes back fast, surprised that a male player killed a siren, and offers 3 bottles instead of 2, with a future cooperation note. The trade closes. 3 holy waters land in my hands. I drink one and pass one to Suna, telling her the snake was venomous and she should take a precaution. She takes the bottle, examines it, and starts to slip it into her pouch like the coconut juice. I cut her off. Drink it, not store it or hand it back. She freezes. I am puzzled by her habit. Vitality juice, holy water, the siren corpse, all going straight into the pouch, none into her body. Under pressure, she opens the cap and drinks, her cheeks ballooning because she's holding it in her mouth, not swallowing. I order her to swallow. She frowns, swallows. I make her open her mouth to confirm. She does. She has injuries too, so the holy water serves her. But the moment my back is turned, she pulls out her notebook to record that Yang is very fierce and likes to force others. I walk over and ask what she's writing. Nothing, she says, hiding the page. I let it go. Privacy is privacy. I tell her everyone is racing out of the storm sea. We need to as well. I ask about astrologer. Level 1, 10 knots slower than level 2 nightmare. Will grappling hook the ship's front and back so neither falls behind. Before we leave, I propose one last loop. Coconut tree crowns are still poking out of the water around the island. Fruit nearly bobbing on the waves, and we can scoop them with hooks. 1 pass only. She agrees. We circle and come away with 92 vitality coconuts. I split the haul down the middle, 46 each for fairness, which puts me at 80 total counting earlier stock, her at 46. For a long time, my stamina problem is solved. The fleet of 2 pushes into the storm. The weather panel reads stronger than yesterday. Watch for floating debris. Origin sea reclassified storm sea. Daylight unknown. 13 to 18 Celsius. Wind force level 9. We sail 2 days without ever seeing the sun. The sea is black to the horizon. Visibility a few dozen meters at best. We hold maybe half our normal speed against the gale. The storm started at force 4. That was the golden window for travel. And I lost mine to a siren's mouth, putting me at the back of the main fleet. The chat tells me COD of Gale broke out last night. His ship at 70 knots is the fastest in the game, and he reports that beyond the storm sea the wind is calm and the sun is bright. Faster ships will keep escaping over the next 2 days. The 2 unlucky stragglers who started halfway are Suna and me. I curse, drink another coconut juice cool to top off stamina. My eyes are bloodshot, my temper short, and message Suna privately. Are there islands or reefs ahead? She tells me not to bother her, this is a critical moment, and goes silent. I demand to know what she's doing. No answer. On the astrologer, she has the siren corpse on a long wooden table next to a basketball-sized crystal chart, and she is using the witch dagger as a scalpel, opening the body to map nerves and vessels and organs, draining brain and eyes into glass jars. She mutters that the structural defects make this thing better called a half mermaid, that an immune rejection reaction is running inside it, that the siren needs to eat humans to suppress it, and that the rejection is weakening. If it stops entirely, the siren's body might change in ways she does not yet understand. On Nightmare, I am at the helm dodging debris that the currents have turned into projectiles. Everyone avoids floating objects now. Chunks large enough to be hull fragments, almost certainly from someone's broken ship. Nightmare's 600 durability is the weak point. Rotten timbers, 3 solid collisions, and I have lost 100. A few more and she comes apart. I tried using the pirate blueprint to fix the speed gap, but the system rejects it. Environment unsafe. No blueprint modification allowed. World chat is a parade of bad news. Lost players panic buybacks at 50 seashell coins per wood. Players refusing to sell. Complaints, screamed prayers. Then a single message catches. Something underwater is hitting my ship. The thread immediately fills with replies. Could it be debris? It isn't debris. Something is striking the hull from below. Another player dies mid-message. The text cutting off in the middle of "save me." And the world chat carries the feed of his last unfinished words like a tombstone. I go cold. A wave smacks across the deck. I message SUNA. There might be monsters in the water. What is happening on your end? SUNA has just finished her dissection and is flushed scarlet from excitement. The system has fired her unlock condition. Otherworldly demon, ethereal demon, dissection 2 of 2. Talent unlocked, forbidden scholar. Sanity limit permanently -20. Occult system opened. Ability to construct special buildings. Research unique recipes. Craft unique items. And a tagline warning that her curiosity has bought her a path that may not return. I am yelling at her in private chat and she finally replies, calm, asking what is it. I ask after her durability. Hardly any, she says. I tell her to come to Nightmare. I'll grant her permission to repair, fill my ship's durability, and stay on Nightmare with me. Separation is suicide if monsters are spawning. She agrees, packs the dissected pieces into her pouch, picks up the crystal ball, and walks across. The two ships are tethered front and back, hulls almost touching, but the swell is rolling them enough that walking the plank is a coin flip. She crawls instead. The moment she boards, I pull her into the cabin and tell her to craft a stone hammer from stone, repair Nightmare to full durability, and stay inside with me. We'll meet whatever is spawning together. Already the world chat is cracking open with attacks, strings of red lanterns gathering toward one ship, a dozen small fishmen cornering another captain in his captain's quarters, a person standing on the open sea blocking someone's heading, another player describing an alien demon caught in his trap that he calls a drowned, before his message cuts mid-sentence as well. The world chat is a column of attacks now, players reporting red lanterns gathering toward them, told they are just fireflies. Players cornered in their captain's quarters by a dozen small fishmen, calling for them to come at me one by one. A man asking why someone is standing on the open sea blocking his heading. Another reporting an alien demon caught in his trap that he calls a drowned, his message cutting off as the drowned detonates. I mourn him in passing. Every minute someone dies and someone else escapes. Nightmare Star, late departure, drifting at the back of the main pod, sees no monsters, but I do see something that scares me. I am out of food. Water is fine, the vitality coconuts solve that, but my body needs protein and calories. I private message SUNA asking what she has on the astrologer. 1 liter of water, she says. She has just finished her repair job and walks out to the bow with her crystal ball cradled in her arms. The receiver is portable as long as she stays close enough to her ship, and the chart shows 2 ship dots on the same patch of water, with everything else on the chart appearing as black blobs of large floating debris and gray shadows of islands. Avoid the dots. Don't get caught in the eddies of the debris. Don't get lost. Another day passes. We split watches at the helm, sleeping in shifts in the captain's quarters. Nightmare's curse only seems to bind the captain. SUNA sleeps as if she is not on a cursed ship, never mentions a single dream, and I'm the one who keeps waking with new versions of the red-eyed woman aiming my own gun. I scour the chat trying to buy food. Hunger marketing is the only marketing. Sellers who escaped the storm hold out for ransom prices. Half the time the replies are a single phrase, sold out. The other half they don't bother. I sit up from the captain's quarters with my stomach loud enough to hear over the wind. The wind has hit force 11. Anyone standing on deck has to crouch to keep balance. My clothes never dry. The salt is soaked into me. I tell myself I have to eat, or losing strength means losing everything. Eat a vitality coconut down to bare shell, drink the water, and admit that coconuts won't fill me. Fishing is the only option I can think of, and I have a rod. I message SUNA I'm trying it. She takes the helm without complaint, and I go to mid-deck and cast. 2 hours yield nothing but my own near drowning. I post a question and a photo to the world channel. Has anyone tried fishing in this? The replies mock me, ask whether I have time to fish while they dodge debris, predict that the siren who eats me will eat me directly. A more sober voice says the waves are too high for a float. The fish are deep, drop the float, lengthen the line, weight it. I retie the rig with a small stone for a sinker. Bait isn't required in this world, and within half an hour the reel screams. I yank, an enormous force almost rolls me off the deck, and the fight goes still on the line. I lean over to look. A wisp of red lantern light is rising from below. Then several, fist-sized eyes climbing through the water column toward me, and I have my flintlock out before the first shark breaks the surface. A meter-long shark, body deep red, hammer-shaped head, 2 crimson lantern eyes hanging on the flat ends, and, wrong. 2 muscular hind legs like a toad's bunched under it. The system tells me this fish is not right and shaves 5 sanity. It launches, I drop flat to the deck, fire the flintlock under it, and the shot detonates the body of the shark in 2 halves at point-blank range. The upper half keeps trying to bite anyway. I swap to the sea serpent's fang and ride the corpse, stab twice, and the thing goes still. The log entry calls it hammerhead shark, abyss corrupted, edible, body usable for gacha, but not both, schooling, and the description warns that finding one means a school is following. I look up at the water and the school is here. 100 crimson lanterns climbing toward nightmare, no grief for their dead, fins breaking the surface as they prepare to leap. They do not mourn for a moment. I shout for Suna and run for the bow, and another hammerhead lands on the deck beside me. They jump on land, 2-meter hops powered by those toad hind legs, slow but coming in numbers we can't outfight. Suna meets me at the helm. I tell her the only chance is the mast. They jump but they don't climb. I have the flintlock and the sea serpent's fang both, but Suna's witch dagger isn't reach enough. There's a pirate longbow in my captain's quarters that's perfect for her. I tell her to grab it on the way past. She nods, hair whipping in the wind, and her face shows excitement more than fear, which I'd ask about if I had time. She tells me she wants a complete shark, particularly an intact eye. I tell her we'll talk after we survive. We bolt for starboard since the school is gathered to port, run crouched against the wind. Starboard has no captain's quarters door, but the flintlock makes a door. I time the cooldown, blow a hole big enough to fit my arm through, and rummage out the pirate longbow with 20-some poison-tipped wood arrows. I hand them to Suna and we sprint to the atrium between captain's quarters and cabin, where the wind eases. A shark is already in the atrium and lunges from a shadow. I draw the fang to meet it, but an arrow whips past my ear from behind and lands square in the shark's eyeball. The shark reels, rolls on the deck, completely useless. I look back. Suna is already knocking another arrow. She tells me she did medicine but won middle school provincial archery, the kind that fed national teams. I ask why she didn't say so earlier. She says the bow she had is at the bottom of the ocean from her siren ambush, and the conversation ends there because 8 more sharks are already in the atrium. She fires every shot into eyes, every shot, which I cannot believe, and the sharks she hits lose their minds, but our arrows don't last forever. New arrivals keep landing on deck and some are circling around a flank from starboard. We reach the mast. I tell her to go up first, cover me from the crossbar with the bow, and I'll follow. She stuffs bow and arrows into her 100 treasures pouch, climbs. I hold the fang horizontal, pistol in the offhand, and start studying their leap. It's a single-vector animal. They pick a direction with their head and commit to it. No in-air correction. Sidestep at the right moment, drive the fang into the gill slit as the shark passes, and the shark shreds itself on its own forward momentum. I kill 3 this way. The 4th almost dies, but I'm not a soldier. I am a man who not long ago could not stand on his own legs without a bed, and the 4th shark sinks its teeth into my right shoulder before I finish the dodge. The pain rolls my eyes back. I press the flintlock to the flat of the shark's head and pull the trigger, and the gun clicks. Misfire. I drop the fang from my right hand into my left and stab, but Suna's arrow grazes my scalp on its way to the shark's eye, which lets the shark let go. My arm a ruin of blood. She tells me to hurry. She is on the crossbar 5 meters up. Sharks can't reach her, drawing and loosing as I climb. I stuff the pistol into my belt and start up one-handed, left arm and cheek pressed flat against the mast, legs pushing. She tells me the last 3 are spent, and I have climbed only 2 meters. She drops one hand off the crossbar to lean down and reach for me, but the gap is too far. A shark times its leap and bites my calf. Bone and tooth grind against each other. The sound is enough to make me sick, but I don't dare let go, because letting go means falling, and falling means dying. The shark hangs off my leg and grinds at the wound. My vision blurs with tears, and the only thing I see clearly is the shark's red lantern eye underneath me, laughing at me, certain it has me. Anger blooms in my chest, hot enough to read by. The system fires a long alert. Question mark unlocked. Rejection of death. The text scrolls. Triggers when health falls below 10 or on fatal damage. HP will not drop below 1. Lasts 5 minutes. All attributes +2, except spirit -2, sanity -50. Afterwards, a 24-hour weakened state of all attributes -2 except spirit, during which rejection of death does not re-trigger. The peace line tells me rejection of death breaks the mortal attribute caps. Sanity below 50, berserk fires on top. Strength +2, agility +1, constitution +1, spirit -2, ignore pain, tireless, fearless. Strength caps at 8, spirit at 4. My right arm comes back to me as if it had never been bitten, and I clamp it on the mast. I extend my left hand down, grip the devil shark's eyeball, and squeeze. The eyeball pops in my palm. The shark loses its bite, and I don't release it. I yank the burst eyeball off entirely and use it to club a second shark in the head, the punching weight of a strength 8 body crushing the second skull on impact. I haul up to the crossbar in one motion. I tell whoever can hear me, mostly myself, that from here on it's only my turn. I drop the dark muzzle of the glimmering pistol toward the deck and pull. 1 shark cleaves in 2 on the first round. Suna stares. She asks what just happened. I almost died and now I am taking apart sharks one by one. I tell her it's a new talent and don't elaborate, because the cost is 24 hours of weakness afterward, and the fewer who know that window the better. Suna watches me with something fervent and hungry, the kind of look that makes me uncomfortable. Her sanity has dropped over 20 points and she had to talk herself down from dissecting me with a dagger. She is muttering to herself that Yang Oi is special. Observe him slowly. Hold back. I don't hear her. I drink 2/3 of my last holy water and pour the rest on my arm, and the bleeding stops fast. The flintlock now alternates 1 misfire to 1 shot, and I keep shooting until the sharks change tactics. They cannot bite us, so they start gnawing the mast, and a few even start eating their already dead kin. The mast is the toughest wood on the ship, and their mouths are not engineered for chewing through it, but it's still a race. I count 30-something live sharks on deck. SUNA stops me. She's just realized the pufferfish with tumors poison on her arrows is propagating. The first shark she shot has rolled over without a twitch, and another shark is already eating it, which means the poison is doing what some insecticides do. Slow death, so the carrier is dragged back to the nest, wiping the colony in cascade. She explains this in the calm, technical voice she uses when she finds a thing fascinating. I shrug and keep shooting because bullets cost nothing in this game and I prefer the shorter timeline. She only asks me to leave her one intact. 10 minutes later, the deck is a shark graveyard. Blood reek thick. I'm in rejection of death's weakness already. HP 15. Climbing back down the mast like a tired old man because one fall finishes me. SUNA has already cut the largest, cleanest shark into pieces for storage. We are rich, I tell her. This is 70 gacha pulls. I used to play mobile games and the gacha was always my favorite. I offer her half. She says she only needs one and I can have the rest. I am almost insulted at her indifference. I cut the corpses into pieces, feed the gacha until the deck is clean. Total 72 pulls. There were 74 sharks. One is hers for dissection. One is the cleanly halved one I'm keeping for emergency rations, since the dual-piece victim hasn't been chewed by its kin and can be safely eaten. The octopus head spits 72 glowing orbs in a row, all unopened, and I rub my hands over them. I open them. 1 unit of steel, 200 seashell coins, 5 units of wood, 5 units of stone. I throw a piece of wood into the deck out of frustration, and the system politely transfers it to inventory anyway. Where are the relics? Where are the treasures? Where is at least an accessory? The list keeps coming. Fresh water, more wood, cloth, crystal, 12 blackbreads, 5 sausages, 3 watermelons, 72 pulls and only 3 named items. 1 exquisite and 2 lesser. Low-tier fire element, exquisite, attaches to equipment and imbues fire. The description says equipment can be modified repeatedly with the last attribute taking precedence. Fishing net emitting red light tool, good. Placeable at the side of the ship to catch fish that pass. But the red light scares normal fish, and the description says I should have seen this red somewhere. Shark skin swimsuit, treasure, common, 25% swim speed, reduced stamina drain, would let me win a swim meet. I pocket all 3. The drop rate floor is offensively low, and an idea forms, submitting too many of the same monster type may collapse drops. The system probably wants players to chase variety, kill new things. I test it. I drag SUNA over from the atrium, hand her a shark fin from the food pile, and tell her to spin once to control for my luck. She drops it in. The octopus head's eyes blaze gold, every tentacle turning gold. A golden orb rolls down the chute and into SUNA's hand, and even the system seems to gloat with the words Golden Legend. I am a flushed red. For the first time, the game feels actively unfair to me. She refuses to tell me what she got. She says I should beg her, and I refuse to beg her, and she stuffs the orb into her 100 treasures pouch with a smug little crescent in her eyes. I have my 3 treasures in my pile of resources, and my conjecture, which is enough. I clean up the deck while SUNA takes the helm. The gacha recycles corpses and blood neatly, but the ship took damage from collisions during the chaos and the captain's quarters has a hole I shot in it. 40 wood for repairs. Inventory now reads 12 blackbreads, 5 sausages, 8 liters of water, 67 vitality coconuts, and 40-something more in SUNA's cabin. 3 watermelons, resources 55 wood, 45 cloth, 32 stone, 10 steel, 8 crystal, 6 sulfur, 2,050 seashell coins. Steel/crystal sulfur look like advanced resources at a 5-to-1 gacha conversion. I post a public note. Don't fish in the storm sea, you only catch monsters. The chat replies with disbelief and demands for a photo I won't post. The photo would peel off everyone's sanity who looked at it. Day 6 of the storm. Most players have broken out. Wind force 10, temperature down to 8 to 12. The chill penetrates, but I can stand it. I notice SUNA in her starting outfit looking entirely warm. I ask her how. She private messages me her gear card. Witch's refined attire, treasure, exquisite, warm, waterproof, increases sanity recovery. The description joking that a witch's first piece of gear is the one that hides the witch. A starting outfit that doubles as a sanity buff. I question the fairness of this game again, briefly. I burn the low-tier fire element on the sea serpent's fang instead of the flintlock. The pistol's misfires aren't a damage issue, and an exquisite essence on a relic tier item barely registers, while a treasure tier short sword gets a full upgrade. The fang advances to exquisite blade red fire poison, sharper than before, hot enough to burn skin if held too long. A day later, I wake from less than 3 hours of sleep to a chain of nightmares. First, SUNA pointing the gun at my head with cold, sinister eyes. Silly, since she had the chance during the sea snake fight and chose to save me. Second, swallowed by a centipede the size of a building. Silly, since the sea has no centipedes. The premonition mechanic is unconfirmed and might be coincidence. I don't intend to be steered around by the dream. I decide for myself. The dream doesn't decide for me. I eat a coconut. The wounds are mostly closed. Holy water has done its work. I push the door open and the world outside is black. The weather panel reads daylight hours. None, force 10, 12 to 18 Celsius. Daylight changed from unknown to none. Something has gone wrong. I shout for SUNA. No reply. I pull out the log and use its faint glow to find the deck. Nightmare star drifting in heavy swell with no one at the helm. I find SUNA at the bow, clutching the crystal ball. Eyes wide and unblinking, lips slightly parted. She gestures at the sea and tells me faintly that we seem to be surrounded. Lightning cracks the sky and I see what's out there. Giant centipede-shaped worms, segmented bodies, 4-blade mandibles at each head opening sideways like a guillotine. They look like bobbit worms scaled to a nightmare, 3 meters thick at minimum. Lengths impossible to estimate because most of each body is underwater. The closest is 1,000 meters off. They sway in the storm in unison, the way a forest sways. The system bites 20 sanity off me at once. The chart shows 100 of them ringing Nightmare Star like a circular fence of black sesame seeds. I drag SUNA into the captain's quarters and ask what happened. She tells me the sky went dark a quarter hour ago. She saw the dots appearing, stopped the ship, walked to the bow to see, and then I caught up. I take the crystal ball and study it. She lectures her theory beside me. The worms have no eyes and no visual organs. Otherwise, Nightmare Star would already be inside one. They hunt by sound and smell. The storm scrambles their senses to a much shorter detection radius. The world chat is a riot of gloating from those who escaped, and curses from those still inside. New monsters spawned. Serves you for being slow. You ran too late. The poison circle caught you. Baka, just wait to die. Then a high-priced recycler hawks second-hand equipment over corpses still warm. Somebody declares he'd rather feed the worms than sell to the recycler, and somebody's old proverb floats by. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west. Don't celebrate too soon. I close the chat. One detail catches me. A player 200 meters from his nearest worm is alive and panicking. I message him, ask whether he's sure of 200 meters. He says yes. It terrifies him. The worm is dozens of meters long and 3 meters thick. I ask him to look again. He tells me he is a surveyor and he is sure. My eyebrows unknot. I open the crystal ball, set its scale to 1 centimeter to 200 meters, and gestured twice on the chart. There are gaps. I tell SUNA her theory is confirmed and the spaces between worms are big enough to thread. The route will be winding, but it's possible. SUNA's face lights up like an academic's, but she is enraptured by the worms themselves, and not by the escape route. I have to remind her I want to live, no matter the cost. She warns me there's no firm, safe distance, and individual variance is plausible. I tell her my surveyor friend gave me a hint, set the lower limit at 200 meters, no upper limit, and we go. I tell her not to stay in the room but to stand on deck. If the worms attack, she sees them sooner, and jumping in the water buys her more time than being in a splintering cabin. I take the helm with one hand and the crystal ball in the other, slowing where 2 worms are close, picking the widest gaps. Up close, lit by lightning bursts, the worms are between 2 and 5 meters thick, and the visible portions are tens of meters at least, hundreds in some cases. A single bite from one would split Nightmare Star like firewood. I change into the sharkskin swimsuit, just in case. After 2 hours, I'm calmer. There is a path, and a path is everything. I post the discovery to the World Channel. As long as you keep over 200 meters from any worm, they won't detect you. Thread the gaps. Mockery first, then thanks, then more thanks, then friend requests start landing. Players send small gifts. The hauls add up to 3 wood, 227 cloth, 12 stone, 7 steel, 13 crystal, 4 sulfur. One man from the fisherman captain Hioki sends me a single exquisite item, with a private note that treasure can be fished again, but life can't. Good luck. The orb the gacha spits out makes my eyes go round. Low-level abyss soulstone, consumable, exquisite, translucent black crystal shell with a glowing fluid inside. Can advance any relic of exquisite or below by 1 quality grade. And the description tells me to put it to my ear and I'll hear the deep sea. I press it to the rusted flintlock. The shell shatters, the fluid drains in, and the flintlock evolves. Glimmering rusted flintlock pistol, relic, exquisite, dual mode unlocked. Cannon mode fires a single overwhelming shot at extreme recoil, then a 12-hour cooldown of guaranteed misfires. Standard mode is no reload, 1 shot every 10 seconds. Minor damage, 50% misfire chance from sea corrosion. The pistol is reborn. My sanity has slid to 48. Berserk on, and I have to fight the urge to test cannon mode on a worm just because I could. I don't. Threading the gaps is dancing on a knife's edge for the next 8 hours, my feet planted in a pile of empty coconut husks. Vitality Coconut bypasses the coconut juice cooldown but produces diminishing returns, and a bloated stomach. Iron Man stamina, miserable interior. My thank you private messages keep coming, the survivors who took my hint and made it through. I learned from those messages that there's a buffer zone at the Storm Sea exit, 50 nautical miles wide, no worms, calm water. When you see an empty patch on the chart, you're nearly out. I stare at the crystal ball. There's no empty patch within 100 miles. 3 more hours and finally an erased patch appears. 80 miles ahead. I tell Suna we're nearly out and she doesn't grin. She holds out a hand to feel the wind and asks if the storm is dropping. I check the panel. Storm subsiding, it reads, with a cheerful surprise tag. Origin C, Storm C, Daylight Unknown, 12 to 18, Force 9. Yesterday was Force 10. The storm has been our shield. Once it drops, the worm's senses come back. I push the helm to full speed and abandon the cautious zigzag for the shortest line, because I no longer know how long until the worms can see us. 80 nautical miles becomes 60 becomes 40. The wind drops to Force 4. Worms in the buffer edge bands start to react. The world chat explodes again with single-syllable curses. Somebody dies mid-word, another captain gets eyes on him from 100 meters and starts screaming. 2 worms have me on their senses and close in. Suna runs to the stern. Surprising me, she tells me she is releasing Astrologer's grappling hook to feed the worms a decoy. Astrologer is slower than Nightmare and unmanned. The worms have no eyes. They will go for the larger trailing target. I don't try to stop her, even if it leaves her without a ship. She cuts the line. Astrologer falls behind. The 2 worms tear into it, fight each other for the prize, and Nightmare opens distance fast. Without Astrologer, the crystal ball goes blank for sea chart purposes. I'm navigating from memory now, and there's still 1 worm I have to pass head-on because every alternative route I can recall has more. I tell Suna she takes the helm next. Just hold the line. I tell her if I tell her to jump, jump. No hesitation, do not stand frozen at the bow. She nods and takes the wheel. I walk to the very front of Nightmare. Nightmare has no weapons. I have no realistic chance of dodging the worm, so I will gamble whether the worm's head is harder than the muzzle of my flintlock. I switch the pistol to cannon mode. The dark shape ahead resolves and the buffer zone is just past it. The worm, unblinkered now, locks on and charges. My fingers go white on the grip. I am not a sharpshooter, I need point blank. 1 chance miss is death. At 300 meters I read its size. 3 meters thick, only 40 meters above water. Smaller relative to its kin. Its mouth opens. 4 blade mandibles, like a bear trap mid-bite. 4 bristled mouth parts circular like a curled spider behind the blades. I can almost smell its salt and rot. Suna, jump, I shout. She jumps. I aim for the head. Less than 10 meters. I pull the trigger. The shot is a roar that rivals lightning. Recoil throws me clear off my feet. My right arm goes numb. I crash backward into the wall of the captain's quarters. The shot took the worm's head clean off. Mouth parts and frontal bones splatter across the water, but the worm's body still has momentum, and it slams into Nightmare Star like a battering ram. The system reads direct impact, durability -600, hull disintegrating. Nightmare splits in half under the strike. The buffer zone is calm and bright by comparison. The black fog doesn't reach here. The wind is Force 1. The water is glass. There's an island a few hundred meters across at the boundary edge. I crawl onto its sand on a chunk of driftwood, sharkskin swimsuit on me, having dragged Suna the last stretch because she was a stronger swimmer than me on stamina, but ran out before I did. I gasp at her about how she's heavier than she looks. The reason I aimed our crash for this direction was that I knew the island was here, and I knew that without Berserk and its blood energy instead of stamina trick, I'd have drowned at the halfway mark. We collapse on the sand. Sanity 42, stamina 0, blood energy 17. Nightmare Star is gone. But Suna had told me earlier that a destroyed ship can be rebuilt. The ship interface confirms it. Rebuilding requires 500 wood and 250 cloth, a 1-month minimum interval between rebuilds. Materials in the cabin can be drawn from, but the ship itself is frozen. I pass out into the deepest sleep I've had since I got here. No nightmare for once. I wake to a system announcement. 3 players left in the storm sea. Leave or be swallowed by black fog. I'm lying inside the island with Suna staring at me with red eyes that for a second I genuinely cannot tell apart from the eyes in my recurring dream. She tells me I've been out for over 12 hours, that she dragged me here. I don't argue, I'm hungry. She complains I was as heavy as a dead pig. I tell her the feeling is mutual. She smiles too quietly, raises a hand, and the glimmering flintlock pistol is in it, pointed at my forehead. She tells me, in the exact phrasing I once used on her in a cave, that she's giving me 3 sentences. Give her a reason not to kill me. The dream becomes the present and adrenaline shaves my breath thin. I tell her this joke has gone too far. She tells me I just used my first sentence. I have 2 more. Seize the chance. I look around. The island has shrunk. Sea level is up. It's 50 meters wide now. Every reachable tree has been blasted down by the pistol and stacked. Less than 300 wood total. Not enough to build 2 ships. So she means to take all the wood and rebuild Astrologer alone. I get it. Disaster strikes, every man for himself. This is human nature. I tell her she can have all my equipment and the wood. Just let me go. She says no. If she shoots me, she gets all of that anyway. I am genuinely furious. Rejection of death is my last card, and I stand up to use it, and she bursts out laughing hard enough to cry. She tells me she just wanted to see if I'd panic with a gun on me, and she has another offer. She wants half my stuff and she'll give me a way out. She wants to combine with me. I ask what? Combine. She holds the pose dramatically. I sit down again because if she really wanted me dead, she'd have done it during the sea snake fight. I ask what if I refuse. She says the gun's in her hand. I have no choice. And she swings it like a victorious sailor. I admit she got me back. I did the same thing to her in the cave, and grumble. She pulls open her 100 treasures pouch and starts rifling. Out come a sea monster's tongue, eyeballs, brain, glands, windpipe, heart, in jars, and the system shaves 5 sanity off me for the parade of organs. She apologizes for taking so long and finally produces a golden card. I pick it up. Ship combination card. Consumable. Special. Allows 2 ships to combine with mutual consent. The combined ship is larger, has more rooms, inherits both ships' hull skills, with a maximum of 2 skills retained. Upgrade materials adjusted. So that's the legend she pulled and saved. I ask her if this is what she meant by combine. She shakes with laughter and says, what else did I think she meant? I don't have a good answer. The card prompts the official confirmation in both our logs. Astrologer's Captain SUNA requests to fuse her ship with mine. Supplies in both cabins are pooled. Agree or reject. I agree. Then a captain election fires. Time means fusion fails and the card returns. Captain has absolute jurisdiction. Election only reruns on captain death. We agreed beforehand I'd be captain. SUNA with command of any ship would happily steer it into a sea trench just to satisfy a hypothesis about whether the trench dweller's appetite is large. Captain it is. The interface synchronizes between us with main authority on me. Sub-permissions for resource allocation. Expansion, helm, room access. The ship gets a rename. The default is Nightmare Astrologer. Too long, I cut 2 characters and call it Nightmare Star. Almost certainly the first fused ship in the player population. Fusion would normally cost extra resources for hull modification, but the rebuild absorbs that. The rebuild for Nightmare Star totals 700 wood, 300 cloth, 100 stone, 20 crystal, 10 steel. I'm pleased. The new ship will be sturdier because steel and stone are in the recipe. The gap is in wood mainly, also slightly stone and cloth. I had hoped SUNA's cabin would pad the resource bank, but her cabin reads 1 wood, 2 cloth. Poorer than a beggar. Did she even play? Cabin has 59 wood, 641 short. Stone is easy on an island. Cloth needs lucky fishing. Wood is the question. I ask SUNA how much she felled, and she says 292 if I count the still-rooted stumps to be dug. Total 351 with cabin stock. Still well short. Trading is impossible here. I look at the half-submerged treetops 100 meters offshore and figure I can swim out, blast them with the pistol, drag them back. I take my pistol back from her with a glare. She agrees readily. We split tasks. She picks up stones along the shore, fishes for cloth, fresh water, food. I have the swimsuit, so I'm the one who can sustain the long swims. Before working, we eat. Underwater shooting is the fastest method. The pistol fires underwater and the buffer zone has no monsters in it. 2 plump groupers in 15 minutes. The body's shredded by the rounds. Eaten anyway. I swim out to the tree line. Sparks and gunshot bloom underwater. Scaring fish off, the second shot floats up a 30-centimeter thick log. I bring back 2 logs at a time and try to pick the thickest. The first run nets 18 wood. The trip is swim plus dive plus pushtail. Comparable to a triathlon. Each one drains over 30 stamina. Best I can manage is 2 return trips before I have to flop on the sand and recover. By the end of the day, I've made 5 trips, 93 wood. SUNA has gathered 74 stone, easy on an island, and her fishing has been weirdly lucky. 2 2-liter bottles of Farmer's 3 punches, and a few extra wood and cloth, plus the fish for our dinners. We will hit rebuild totals in 4 or 5 days. At night, neither of us risks fishing or logging. We hide in the center of the island and split watches. SUNA first half, me second. There's no bed, but I sleep deeper than I have on Nightmare in weeks. Off the cursed hull, the curse doesn't reach me. The world chat speculates about who the 3 holdouts are. They guess hidden dungeon, secret quest, 3 corpses in a worm's belly, and someone gloats that as long as we don't escape the storm sea, the next stage of the game can't unlock. I ignore all of it and answer the friend requests with 7 words. Ship exploded. I'm building a new one. The replies are in awe. Big shot is a big shot. Are you missing a leg attachment? 3 more days pass and we settle into the rhythm. The man swims for wood, the woman fishes and gathers stone. After the previous voyage's anxiety, the island is bliss. Settling on an island and farming would be a fine life, except the black smudge at the horizon line where I came from is darker today than yesterday, which means the black fog is closer. We need 72 wood, cloth, and stone are done. I had SUNA stockpile extra stone for shipboard reserve, since stone barely floats and only fishing yields it at sea. If nothing breaks, today is the day. After breakfast, I head out. 3 trips smooth, 57 wood, 1 or 2 more and we're complete. The 4th trip the sea changes. A wall of fish blasts past me, all sizes, shapes, names I don't know. Everyone swimming forward like the devil is behind it. Even the carnivorous sharks ignore me as prey. They sweep through like a wind. The shockwave tosses me sideways. I surface coughing. The logs I just felled are gone with the current. SUNA messages me from shore asking if I'm alright. The fish are fleeing the black fog. I tell her I'm coming back. She'll need to help me ashore. She does. My stamina is at 23 when I crawl out, 15 wood short of complete. A wall of giant worms swims through the sea behind the fish, but the moment they hit the buffer zone boundary they disappear, as if through a membrane. The buffer is a hard rule. Good. If those came in, we were finished. I tell SUNA fishing won't make up 15 wood in time and the water isn't safe anymore for me to swim. Tree roots are the only path. We dig roots all afternoon. Roots are agonizingly inefficient. By evening we have only 7 of 15. The black fog shadow is now visible. 3 immense worms swim up at us in a row, each 7 or 8 meters thick. All hand-picked monsters, they hit the buffer zone boundary and vanish. 3 enormous harpoons drop into the water at the spots where they vanished. And a man's voice carries from behind them on the wind. The voice is wailing names. Guden. Why are you 3 gone? And behind the worms is a steel hull, 200 meters long, smoldering in places, blackened, draped with bloodstains, with a 4-meter jaw blade still embedded in its deck from some shattered worm. Ironheart, level 2. Captain Yu Daewei, formerly a portly middle-aged man, now thin enough to tighten a belt, twice dark circles under his eyes, smoking on the bridge, cursing quietly. He upgraded to level 2 and shot his way clear by riding worms with wailing harpoons, dragging them along like sled dogs. Ironhearts reads 10,000 durability with 5,000 something left. Capacity 20,000, speed 10 knots. Hull skills all-out firepower, firing rate 200% for 15 minutes. Triple shot whale harpoon, penetrate and hook, 1 hour cooldown. Sea Monster Bane, super cannon that sends sea monsters home, 4-hour cooldown. The flavor jokes: the ship is bigger, stronger, tougher, speed up 200%. He spots us, eyes lighting up, waves and shouts, but the wind eats his voice. He uses regional chat instead. He introduces himself as Yu Daewei, captain of Ironheart, and asks if we can hear him. I reply that I'm Yang Owie, captain of Nightmare Star. He asks where my ship is, and I tell him it sank. He goes silent, thinking I'm finished. I explain rebuilding. We're 7 wood short. He sends me 100 wood for help and asks if I can give him a ride after rebuild. Without giant worms in the buffer zone, his Ironheart at 10 knots cannot outrun the black fog at 15. I agree. He's relieved. He asks me not to attack him on approach. Says he can see a pistol on my belt. The ship is several kilometers away. He has eagle eye, perception +2, excellent eyesight, good for tracking and aiming, plus a second talent unlocked by killing many large sea beasts. Superior firepower, sanity will not drop below 50 as long as he has firepower. The truth lies within cannon range. The harpoon arcs over and lands 10 meters from us, with exactly 100 wood lashed to it. I don't waste time. I rebuild. The materials lift off the ground, fragment reassemble like brick play into a ship. 30 meters long, still recognizably a ghost ship, larger and a little uglier. The captain's skeleton at the bow has fresh strands of seaweed dangling on it as if it just rose from the sea. The midsection now hosts a crystal ball mounted in front of the mast, and a fragment of the hull is plated with rusted steel, sturdier than before. Nightmare Star level 2, durability 1,000 of 1,000, capacity 3,000, speed 60 knots. Hull skills compressed to 2. Nightmare, terrible sleep on board, recovery -75%, captain only. And Astrologer, chart the surrounding 150 nautical miles in the crystal ball. Peeking now retrieves ship name, player name, ship coordinates, and ship image. 1 target per day, no longer geographically limited. The Fisherman's Curse and original peeking drop 2 skill cap. The flavor tells me I chose to merge with a ghost ship in hopes I don't regret it. I call SUNA aboard. The interior has changed. There's a separate bedroom for her next to mine. The cabin is larger. 2 expansion slots now exist. Pirate clothes, fishing nets, rods, coconuts, food and water. Even a piece of giant worm corpse from the beheading shot. All preserved. I send Yu Daewei a friend request and a private message. Come to my stern. Throw me your hook. He's a little wary, but he comes anyway. Ironheart is so much taller than Nightmare Star that I can only see half of him over the rail. I tell him ahead of time that if my ship towing his Ironheart can't hit 15 knots, I'll abandon him, and he should not attack me for it. He thinks for a moment and asks instead if he can board my ship for shelter. I agree at once. A ship can be rebuilt, a person can't. He throws the hook over and I tie it at multiple points to spread the load. The rope itself is infinite durability per the log. No worry there. I tell SUNA full speed. Ironheart goes to full power. We watch the speed climb. 11 knots, 12, finally over 15, 16, 17. 2 knots faster than the black fog. We exhale together. We haul Ironheart out of the buffer zone, breach the storm sea boundary, and the sky abruptly brightens, sunlight slicing across our faces for the first time in days. The system announces, "You have left the storm sea." Out of the storm sea, the system rains announcements down on me. All players have left. The black fog is decelerated to 10 knots. The Great Sea Chart is now open. Players can see their coordinates on it. The Tier 3 ship count has crossed 10,000. The extreme winter sea area is spreading and everyone should pack warm. The lob gets a new page, a course map covering the routes I've already taken, with the rest of the world hidden behind a yellow-brown fog of war. Nightmare Star's astrologer skill widens that view to 150 nautical miles around me. The chart does three things. It gives every player coordinates, so meeting up only requires a number. What happens at the meeting is anyone's guess. It labels sea areas with crooked tectonic boundaries. Behind us, the storm sea, ahead the extreme winter, and it shows the black fog's edge so I can monitor the gap to my pursuer. The chat is alive again. CO Day of Gale, my friend, says no wonder it's so cold. He's already at the extreme winter sea boundary and the temperature is 0 to 2 Celsius. Sub-zero ahead. Players ask his speed. He says 100 knots. Double everyone else's. Sellers hawk warm cotton coats at 100 cloth each. Treasure common, good warmth, don't get it wet. And warm down jackets at 120 cloth. Treasure find. The complaints fly. I do the math. My pirate outfit is a joke against minus 10 Celsius. SUNA's witch's refined attire is closer to a layer of thermal underwear. Cold weather gear is mandatory. Once the market settles, I want at least 4 sets of cotton coats or down jackets, with 1 spare set in reserve. I walk to the stern. Ironheart is right behind, but the black fog is no longer a death sentence, and there's no need to keep towing. Yu Daewei shows up at the rail at the same time. He calls me Brother Yang and offers me a spot in his Steel Brotherhood, his planned fleet. He already has subordinates and is rendezvousing with them now. I tell him politely no, I'm used to running alone. He doesn't push. He says if I ever need him to cover me, message him. Ironheart can back the offer. He tosses across a small lump of meat. A piece of giant bobbit worm, mutated by abyssal contamination, can grow over 100 meters very fast in water, hyper-developed hearing. He laughs that the more he gotchas, the worse the drops. So the meat is mine. I thank him and keep it. We part. Nightmare Star's 60 knots leaves Ironheart's 10 in the dust within minutes. Behind me on his bridge, Yu Daewei mutters that the name on my hull was Nightmare Star. Did those two ships fuse? Because he's a man who connects details, and one of his subordinates was a player I helped survive the worm field, which is how he knew my identity to begin with. He decided to deepen the connection with the meat gift. I have 2 pieces of worm flesh, his and one I grabbed from the headshot, 2 gacha pulls. I splash my face with fresh water for the lucky pale ritual. Drop the first piece in. The octopus head flickers, but no gold. The orb that rolls out is anything but disappointing. Head of the giant bobbit worm. Ship equipment relic. Rare. Mounted on the bow. Increases hull durability and impact force. Can use the sharp mandibles to cut down boarders. Has a deterrent effect that reduces marine creature attacks, but also risks drawing more terrifying monsters. I install it without hesitation. If I balk at this, I'll never use any equipment I draw. The second pull is a black iron material chest, treasure chest class, opens to a moderate amount of supplies, and the open prints 200 wood, 200 cloth, 200 stone, 50 steel, 50 crystal, 50 sulfur. So that's why Yu Daewei tossed me 100 wood without flinching. Ironheart isn't short of anything. CO Day of Gale messages me about forming a fleet. His Gale Brigade says he'll save me a slot. I decline politely. The chart has been open less than a day and people are organizing. Should I form my fate in my own hands? But managing a fleet would tie me down. SUNA comes running, face flushed, asking if I just got a haul. I tell her about the black iron chest. She zeroes in on the worm head on the deck and starts examining it, taking notes, pulling out a dagger to cut into it. I snatch it back before she can carve into an exquisite piece of equipment. She gives up on the dissection and tells me she wants to build something. The application pings me. Crew member SUNA applies to build a witch laboratory. The conditions read expansion space 2, 200 wood, 200 cloth, 100 stone, 50 steel, 50 crystal, 20 sulfur, and once built it cannot be dismantled. I check the expansion list. Nightmare's defaults. Extra cargo hold. Ancient war room. Great statue. Plus the 2 from astrologer. Lookout tower. One space scans a 1,000-mile radius and surfaces islands on the chart once every 3 days. 200 wood. 100 cloth. 100 stone. 30 crystal. And Liuli cannon. One space 100 crystal. 20 sulfur. Powerful but unstable and easily broken. No witch laboratory in the list. I ask her where she got it. She says it's an extra building unlocked by her talent. I want cannons and a lookout tower more than a mystery building, especially since the laboratory eats 2 slots and I won't have room for a cannon until I hit level 3. I refuse. She pulls at my sleeve and pleads. This is the only thing she'll ever ask for. I tell her sternly to talk, not pull. The woman's coquetry is a disguise, and then realize I have to manage a crew now, not just myself, because crew conflict means backstabbing eventually. I ask what the laboratory does. Her eyes light. She tells me it provides research tools, makes alien monster sample dissection easier, and lets her develop new formulas. New formulas, I repeat, my interest engaged. She holds out a vial labeled unknown potion in the system. No quality stated, the description teasing that I'll know it when I drink it. She tells me to drink and find out, and if she had a laboratory, she'd make me even better ones. I ask if she's poisoned it. She says this bottle is definitely not poisoned. So the others are poisoned, I ask. She says every medicine has some toxicity and snatches it back and drinks half on the spot. I follow before she can mock me. Smooth and viscous, a fishy slime taste straight to the head. The data resolves. Vitality siren juice, consumable potion unique, exquisite, which SUNA's original, siren mucus plus salt plus vitality coconut. Half bottle restores 10 stamina with a 50% boost. Full bottle is 15 stamina, 75% boost, 8 hours, overdose is poisoning. The full effect is better than my coconut juice cool. She made it. She is a walking gold mine. Vitality recovery for life, regardless of coconuts. I approve the laboratory request. The hull glows blue. The system confirms construction, and the cabin gains a room. Half the cabin in size, dark stone slab floor instead of rotted plank. 2 glowing metal tables, walls lined with cold steel shelves of empty glassware. There's nothing in it, the materials feel wasted, but SUNA is glowing harder than the room is. Her log has an extra page only she sees. An occultism interface. She can buy experimental equipment with seashell coins and conduct occult research. The laboratory's note: research energy minus 50%, sanity loss minus 25%. Alien monster samples will not rot in here. Displayed samples increase the witch's inspiration appearance rate by 1% each. She immediately empties her 100 treasures pouch onto the glass shelves. Siren organs, devil shark eyeballs in glass jars, a 30-centimeter dried small fishman she had killed before we met, and the corpses, which had been near rotting, regain a fresh sheen in the cabinets, dropping 2 of my sanity from looking at them. The sample count hits 3. Hammerhead shark cuts up next. She has a dissecting knife in her hand. She extends a palm to me like a researcher asking for grant money. Equipment costs seashell coins. I transfer her 1,000. That's a third of my stash. She thinks it's too little but bends back over the shark, and I slip out before she asks for more. The laboratory feels like a place where I'd become a sample by accident. I private message her, prioritize energy and healing potions, and don't use vitality coconut as raw material, because it's hard to find. Then I plan. The extreme winter needs warm clothing, fire-making tools, stockpiled non-perishable food and water, and if possible, a level 3 ship with cannons. Level 3 for an ordinary ship is 500 wood, 300 cloth, 100 stone, 20 steel. Nightmare Star's level 3 is 1,200 wood, 500 cloth, 300 stone, 50 steel, 100 crystal, and 10 alien monster corpses. Cannons later, the corpses are the puzzle. I scroll the chat for fire-making tools. There's one ad, longevity brand lighter, tool, good, super durable, never runs out of gas. I message the seller. He says it's already sold. He needs the one he has himself. The market for fire is gridlocked. Every player is thinking the same thing, supply exhausted. The world chat lights up with a recruitment block. A man named Shim Guangwon, captain of Hope, fleet leader of the New World Fleet. He claims a dozen plus captains already aboard, including Farmer Ironhead, several special ships. No entry requirements. Joining means opening docking permission, disarming obeying assignments, surrendering equipment and supplies for reallocation, in exchange for guaranteed safety, division of labor, the rebuilding of human civilization. He guarantees personally that as long as he eats, his crew won't starve or freeze. He drops a specific coordinate pair and says half a month at that anchorage. He warns disarmers will face a fatal strike if armed. Most chat replies call it a trap. Only fools would join. Why trust him? He doesn't reply. He's hunting for the small fraction who will come anyway. And even at 1% he's set. The Hope is a suspicious name. I want to confirm it. I run to the atrium, take a small crystal ball, the fusion provided 2 so we can both check the chart at any time, and activate peeking, search Hope, Shim Kwangwan. The Hope appears in the ball. He didn't lie about the anchorage. He's there. But Hope is not a special ship at all. A plain sailboat with the word Hope painted on the sail. Renamed by him with the one rename ordinary ships are allowed. Special ships can't rename unless they fuse. Around the Hope are several ships tethered together. The big farmland ship with people working fields is Farmer. The dark iron armored ship with the huge sharp ram is Ironhead. The hull just surfacing from below, sealed and capable of diving. I name it Submarine because I don't know its real name. Shim Kwangwan himself is a dignified man in white captain's uniform. Immaculate. I can't see talents from a peak. If I could, I'd see 2. Psychological suggestion, boost or drop someone's attribute by 1, and sanity by 20 for 24 hours. Via speech, immune to high spirit, cooldown 24 hours. Capped at mortal limits. And great leader. Born leader, others lower their guard. His subordinates excluding spirit grow 25% faster. Immune to high spirit. The chart has been open less than a day. No chance he gathered all this in a day. They were already a group, met by chance or pulled into an event before this. I don't want a faction. Not without cannons of my own. Handing over equipment is putting my life into someone else's hands. I have a chart that lets me avoid players, and that's part of why I built SUNA's lab first. But the recruitment posts keep coming, and as factions grow, lone wolves get squeezed. I tell myself I have to either get strong enough to stand alone or join under conditions of absolute freedom. For now, I message Shim Kwangwan anonymously, offering him a special ship blueprint, attaching the pirate blueprint info. He demands to know who I am. I tell him it's none of his business. I just want to deal. He goes silent for minutes, then writes back that ordinary ships upgrade more efficiently than special ships. He isn't in a rush, and the pirate blueprint isn't what he wants. The reply tells me too much. He's seen blueprints before, which means he's killed players for special ships and has more in his collection. Those special ships around Hope may not be their original captains anymore. Cold runs through me. I quote him a deliberate stretch. 2 months of long shelf life food, 200 liters of fresh water, 1,200 wood, 800 cloth, 400 stone, 100 crystal, 100 steel, 5,000 seashell coins, plus fire-making tools. He balks, calls me ridiculous, says the blueprint isn't worth that. I tell him fine, goodbye. A friend request lands within minutes. Hope's Captain Shim Guangwon. I refuse so as not to surface my name and ship. He tells me I'm overcautious and offers a high starting position in his fleet. I decline. He emojis a smile and counters. He can give me 1 month of dry rations and 1 month equivalent in fresh produce. Half my requested materials at most. The 5,000 coins, yes, but no fire tools because his crew's safety. To make up the gap, he offers a rare spatial relic. Greedy stomach pouch, relic treasure grade. Peeled organ of an unknown exotic beast that stays alive after extraction. 10 cubic meters internal storage. Must be fed every time it opens or it bites. Cannot store food. Alien monster corpses get their flesh and blood eaten clean, leaving bones and shells. Which doesn't affect gacha. I gasp. I want it. I ask if it's a relic with sanity cost on use. He admits 20 per open. I tell him I'll take it and control my use frequency. The deal closes. Happy cooperation, he writes. Contact me first if you sell other things. I tell him I'll reach out proactively if I do. I gacha the blueprint into the octopus head. Out comes a wave of food. 20 black breads, 10 sausages, dried fish, and fresh produce. 5 cabbages, 5 cucumbers, an apple, a pear, 1 fresh whole tuna. 60 days for 1 person. Then a smooth black palm-sized bag plops out, slick to the touch, almost like a century eggshell. The greedy stomach pouch. I try to pry it. It howls, sanity -5. I learned the rule by accident. Feed it dried fish. It accepts and obediently opens. I reach in and the inside is slimy and feels like being tickled. Sanity -10. The bag laughs at the sensation. The side effect is real. Few will dare. But the storage is huge and it hangs at the waist. The supplies are in the cabin, the coins in my account. SUNA pings me at once for more coins. The shared interface betrays everything. I tell her 1,000 more, that's it. She gets her 1,000. She better produce results soon or I can't afford her. I move all the food into the cabin, mount the wormhead on the bow. Once installed it grows, mandibles open 10 meters wide if I command, fully manipulable from the helm. I cast the red fishing net into the water. Fishing net emitting red light scares normal fish, perfect now. With 4 hours left of daylight, I pick up the rod and start fishing. Idle minutes are wasted minutes. Behind me on the Hope, Shim Kwangwon has the blueprint in hand. A bald scarred captain, Joe Cheol of Iron Head, a stubborn brute who's Shim Kwangwon's confidant, suggests they meet me and rob me. Shim Guangwon raps him on the head and says if I hear rob from your mouth one more time I'll throw you into the sea. The bald man swears never again, then says it again immediately, and someone throws him in. He climbs back out. Shim Guangwon laughs. Get back on Ironhead. He himself has thought about meeting me, but I'm too cautious. Won't even add his friend. He turns the blueprint over. He won't use it himself. Pirate Captain doesn't fit the leader image he's cultivating. He wants a maritime empire and the first step is the noble public face, the plain sailboat suits. A day passes. Long-legged sardine, rotten wood, eyeball fruit, more sardines. I drop the rod and lie on the deck in defeat. Then I sit back up. This sea area is sardine and eyeball heavy, occasional pufferfish with tumors, very rare red-lit eel. I switch to deep water fishing, sinker no float, sardine bait. Baiting itself isn't required, but improves odds. I hit the chat to look for fire tools again. 2 more attempts, 2 more rejections. Various organizations recruit. Sakura forms new human, Sakura country only. New Rome Eden sound foreign. Eden's coordinates are far. Players from different regions seem to spawn far apart. I post a wanted ad. High price for fire-making tools, also buying down jackets or other warm clothes. Replies come. All selling clothes. Down jackets at 150, then at 120. 4 for 480 cloth. Cotton coats are cheaper but lower quality. I'll wait the market out. The reel spins. A small fight, I haul in a human head octopus, head mimicking a man's, all tentacles below, and step on it before it can finish saying, "Sir, could I trouble you for a moment?" Bad luck, I curse, and rebait. By day's end, the deep water yield is a human head octopus, a red-lipped eel, and a bronze treasure chest. The chest is wrong. Dead things on the line don't fight me. It pulled like a fish, took half an hour to bring up. Half a meter wide, bronze rust thick on it, seawater eroded, a coral growing out of one corner. Submerged bronze treasure chest, says the log, contents possibly treasure but possibly not. Same family as the submerged rotten wood chest that gave me the human head octopus. The fishing line vanishes into the chest itself. My bait was swallowed by the chest. I step back, draw the pistol and try to pry it open with a wooden spear. The spear breaks. I lash the sea serpent's fang to the haft and pry at a deeper angle. Something inside cuts. The chest screams. A black water arrow shoots out and I sidestep. A mimic, sanity -5 from being startled. The interior is tender white flesh. My blade has cut it. The chest stops moving, but I stab a few times to be sure. Treasure chest clam. Food. Bivalve mollusk that occupies treasure chests for shells. Sprays corrosive acid for prey. Hoards shiny things. Edible if you remove the organs. Non-toxic. I cut it open and the meat is a thin layer over a hoard. 600 seashell coins, 50 crystal, 20 stone, and a fist-sized pearl. Healing pearl treasure rare. Soak the pearl in 1 liter of water for 12 hours and the water gains healing properties. Accelerated wound recovery. My eyes light. Treasure clam is a rare drop machine. I haul in the red fishing net at dusk. 2 finds. One-armed crab, food, lopsided right pincer with half its body weight, edible. Strange starfish, sanity -3, looks like a 5-fingered hand crawling like a spider. I stomp it dead. Hand-shaped starfish, food, abyss twisted, slightly poisonous, agility +1 for 1 minute, sanity -20. Like the human head octopus, a tribute buff food, possibly potion-grade ingredients. I take it to the lab. SUNA's still dissecting hammerhead, 2 fist-sized eyeballs glowing red in glass jars, and her face lights at the new fish in the pearl. She says inspiration too. No 3 formulas, give me 3 days for prototypes. I tell her it's night, sleep first. She hesitates 2 seconds and obeys. I take the small crystal ball to bed. Its vibration alert will warn me if any player ship enters my zone at night. I drink a coconut juice cool, scroll the chat for warm clothes prices and fire tools as I drift. In the dead of night, Suna sneaks out of her room toward the lab, working through 3 days of routine, fishing by day, retrieving the net by evening, target practice. I give all the strange fish to her. Catches yield wood, cloth, 650 seashell coins, 9 liters of water, and 2 resource chests. Wooden gives 20 wood and 20 cloth. Bronze gives 100 wood, 100 cloth, 20 steel. 2 new species roll in. Eyeball octopus, perception +1 for 1 minute. Abyss corrupted, eyes on the tentacle tips. An abdominal muscle lobster, constitution +1 for 1 minute. Abyss corrupted with a 6-pack. Hand-shaped starfish, human head octopus. Eyeball octopus, abdominal muscle lobster. Strength, agility, perception. Constitution, the 4 non-spirit attributes. Complete. By evening, I check market prices again. Down jackets are down to 105 cloth. The cost floor is around 100. The bottom is hit. Inventory, 841 wood, 560 cloth, 408 stone, 5,700 seashell coins, 208 liters water, 77 steel, 51 crystal, 40 sulfur. Looks rich. Spending 400 plus cloth on jackets and saving for level 3 says otherwise. Cotton/coin exchange holds at 5 seashell coins per basic unit, 25 per advanced. I leave my standing ad. High price fire tools, low price warm clothes, DM me. Soon as private message hits, 3 potions on the table. Red is attribute boost with possible side effects. Colorless restores energy. Pink restores injuries. I sprint to the lab. The yield justifies the investment. Suna is slumped over the table, asleep over a microscope. Test tubes, conical flasks, an alcohol lamp. I pick up the lamp. It's empty, the system telling me it's a lab-only instrument that vanishes if removed, and the fuel must be supplied separately. Why she bought this is beyond me. The 3 potions sit like trophies. Red and pink are clean liquids. Colorless has long-legged sardine legs floating in it. Viscous, requires drinking and chewing. I ask Suna what it's made of and get no reply. I shake her. Body warm, no response. I check her crew status. Injured, fever, exhausted, faint. Sanity 35 of 80, crazy, obsessed. Blood 82, stamina 12. Sanity cap of 80, she must have taken a permanent hit to the limit somewhere. She skipped sleep, forgot to eat, and her body is collapsing. Stamina under 30 equals fainting. Obsessed is one of the crazy states. I've never had a crazy state. My berserk talent dodges the prompt entirely. Even if my sanity hit 1, I wouldn't get the message. So this is my first look at a crazy descriptor. What a high-maintenance scientist. I lock her out of the lab using Captain Authority. I mix a coconut juice cool with salt and a Vitality coconut, lift her chin, and pour it down. Most of it spills. Doesn't matter. I'd planned to feed her the colorless potion, but it requires chewing. The effects are unknown. Dangerous for a sick patient. I lift her. She's heavier than she looks. My baseline 4 strength struggling. I gain an experience point hauling her, and complain to no one that she's made of cement. No fat. No chest. Why so heavy? Lucky my ship is small. If it were iron heart-sized, I'd have to drag. I set her in her bedroom. Her room is preserved from astrologer. Solid wood floor, glowing crystal balls in the ceiling. No musty smell, completely unlike my captain's quarters. I cover her with a blanket and leave a log message. I've revoked your lab access. Check your activity log when you wake. You didn't even know you'd gone crazy. As if a crazy person reads activity logs. I'm about to leave when I see a notebook on her side table. Its title page reads Yang A Wei Observation Diary. My scalp tingles.